You have yourself muted.
Jeez, that's how I want to start. Sorry. I have a very loud family that just left to Dufferin Mall. So if anybody's in the Bloor and Dufferin area that's not on government assistance, check out my family. What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, October 1st to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Shout out to all you guys joining us. We got Shaq Duncan says, let's go Cali Friday. Fat Win says, shout out to Matt Janning for his excellent Milan over CSKA home dog. Plus 4.5. They won by 10, I think. By the end of it, at least 9. They were down 29-21 after the first quarter, and then they just took over the game. And that's what's so special about this show is that Matt Janning, professional basketball player, goes out of his way to let us know there's a spot in EuroLeague basketball where we can get paid. So huge, giant shout out to Matt Janning. And he's here with us right there. There he is. Matt Janning, what a guy. You guys want to have a fun rabbit hole, go through his career. It is a really enjoyable. And it will take you a long time. And if you check out the players that he's played with, it's extremely fun. So giant shout out to our Matt Janning in the house. Ich Nizzle. Yes. I went 3-1 in MLB, 1-0 in NCAA football. I did go with the Sharps on the under. I waited till about 7 minutes before the game till my book moved to 63.5. And then I went 0-3 in NFL, and my NFL units are bigger than my, baseball and college football units. So it was a losing day, an angry day, and Thursday's got me again. And Michael Avelina was absolutely right, calling me out for, trying to go against what I see the week before, but certainly not doing that with the Bengals. Blinded by the Bengals skill set. Also, really liked the over. I really liked the over in that game. The quarterbacks did more than enough to get me the over. The goal line stop at the end of the first half, I knew was going to cost me the over. Upsetting. A shout out to Birdie for cashing the Bengals live at the half. There's razor sharp picks in the house. Mark Sports Betting, JR, Kenny Can, J Dub, Luchase, Fox. Says, word, brethren, how about that Lawrence over 16.5 rush yard prop? Easy cash. I can't remember who posted in the chat, but thanks. That was the Dutch boy freshest look. The freshest look. Lance LaRose in the house print department ready to go. Luke Murphy, esteemed author Luke Murphy. And Matt Janning says, game day tomorrow, Jimmy. Got to pack it in early here. Best of luck. I'll catch those tickets. Thank you, Matt Janning. You're a big part of what we do here. We're honored that you roll with us, my man. I will be following along in your game tomorrow. You know I will. So I'll be cheering for you heavy, my man. There is Nut Flush Allen in the house. I'm with my great buddy Mike Payton at the Ventura Festival, hustling the best bread and sweets from Old Town Bakery. Any low baggers, stop in and say hi. Nut Flush, always hustling. Shout out to Mike Payton and the Ventura Festival. Soldier Boy says Baltimore team total was the play yesterday. It was great work staying off of the Red Sox, but should have just jumped on the other side. Happens. Evan, 2-1 yesterday. Went 2-1 yesterday. Only if the Rays come back with a swept the board. Alexander Sosa in the house. There's Robert Cherry ready to go. 23-13 today's Pamper Pop play today is the Phillies' first 5. It's a tricky card, and we'll go over everything pretty in depthly, but. The issue here is who's trying, who's not. What are the lineups going to look like? And there's the market. The books were so afraid to put out the market for all these games with all these unknowns. So Pamper Pop play is the Phillies' first 5. Also, we'll have Nolly Knows joining us here. Let's get this Phillies game. It's the Suarez start. That's one of Nolly's games. Lone Depot Park. Suarez coming off that complete game. And, I've been ever since he cashed us against the Dodgers, 2 months ago, I've just been on the Suarez train, and he threw a complete game shutout at home versus the Pirates last out. And I took a good look at he only threw like 96 pitches. So he's been throwing mid-90s pitches every game. So there's no concern. At least I don't have major concern. Let's say this, I don't have major concern. All right, Kent Davies says betting against Jaguars when they take early lead might be a nice play the rest of the year. Art Hayes, we haven't seen enough Art Hayes. Art Hayes in the house. Slatsy says shout out to Dutch for that Lawrence prop over 14.5 yards, cashed at halftime. Razor Sharp Pick says love today's college football card. I can't wait till you tell us who you are on. Nolly has moved on one game on today's card. I've broken them all down, but haven't moved on any. I did add Rutgers +8. I have bet Rutgers +8. Bet that yesterday. Matty I says, thank God NCAA football and the weekend is here. Yes. Thank God. Thank God. Let's get Robert Cherry's NHL action up here as well. Okay, we have an absolutely packed card. A completely packed card. There's Mr. Gokster in the house. We're doing it all today. We're doing it all. So this is how the show brings out. We're going to do Major League Baseball. I'm going to cap the first 11 games, and we have 4 games that Nolly Knows will be on. Then we're going to move on to NCAA football. Nolly's going to stick with us. He's going to break down the 3 games with me this evening. And then we've each picked a game on Saturday that we're going to go over. We'll review Nolly's picks he's already given out, and same with mine. And you guys already know Rutgers is my pick. Rutgers first half is my spot. And then we're going to move into CFL. There's one game on CFL, and it's tricky. I have made 2 bets in CFL. I tweeted them out. Those of you who jumped on the Stampeders at home at +3 with me when I tweeted it out, or for the 24 hours after that, great, because it's 2.5 now, and that's an important half point. So then I'm on the Tiger Cats, -2.5, -110. I still like that spot very much. All right, here we go. Eric Jones in the house. JL. Bob Taylor. I haven't seen enough Bob Taylor. Says thoughts on Houston, Tulsa. I can't wait to break that down together. All right. Oh, and Fap Win giving us horse action. It's a great weekend for horses. And don't forget, 1 month from now, Breeders' Cup, baby. Breeders' Cup, son. So we'll be live. For the Friday, I'm going to do my regular show Friday morning. So Friday afternoon, we'll do the Breeders' Cup races. So there'll only be 6 or 7 of them. And then we'll be live all day Saturday for a championship Saturday at the Breeders' Cup, which is my favorite day of the year. It's my favorite day of the entire year, and I can't fucking wait. I can almost taste the Kraken. Okay, let's get to work. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And Summers are for Taint. Summers are for Taint, going for 4 straight. Houston, Tulsa over 54. Let's get that ready to go here. Where is that game? Here we go. That's going to be a fun one. All right, Summers are for Taint is in. And what was Fap's horse action here? Fap's horse action is where is it? Take a look at Dark Angel, 3-year-old filly in the 4th race at Newcastle. Well placed, and Buick rides him. Can you guys let me know if that race goes on while the show is live? Because last time Birdie, now I know this is Pat, but last time Birdie gave it a look with Buick in the irons, it was during the show. I didn't realize it was going to be during the show, and you guys all cashed at 11-1. Well, I was sitting here holding my ball sack, and I don't want to have that happen again. I'd rather bet this one and lose than not bet it. Okay, let's get to work. Thank you guys all so much for joining me. Henry Dice on the Aggies, +9.5. I can't wait to break down college football. I can't wait to do all this. I'm so thankful to get a chance to be here with you guys today. Because if I wasn't, I'd be sitting here thinking about losing $600 on the Thursday nighter, and I would be so fucking angry. You know, the first thing I did when I woke up, because I had an early morning radio show, I went on the balcony and I got them off my fucking balcony. The pigeons, get the fuck off my balcony. I don't want to hear you guys fucking this morning. No more fucking on my watch. I'm angry. But that anger seems to be dissipating somewhat because I'm here with you guys. All right, let's get to work right now. First review of yesterday. 3-1 in MLB. Angels first 5, easy casher. Mets first 5, -0.5, easy casher. Detroit, Minnesota first 5 under 4.5 was a loss. Dodgers first 5, -1 was a push when they easily cashed full game, upsetting. And then Cubs first 5, -115 was a winner. And I would like to thank Jose Bouquet, because when I asked him to break down the 2 young Venezuelan pitchers, the Yajure, I was watching clips of Yajure. You know, watching sports, and I know cappers, and I don't talk about, often, but I know cappers that are well-known cappers that don't watch sports. And it's just about beating the market, beating the move, and they have their models and all that stuff. And I often think, God, that'd be fucking nice. Because then you don't deal with the biases that we have, the psychological issues we have from watching these games and having favorite players. And I was watching Yahure, and of course his highlight film looks good. Of course, any pitcher's highlight film looks good. And he had nasty junk. He was all this movement. But when Jose broke down the speed of his fastball, and we went over his numbers, and it was such an easy casher. And I wasn't going to be on the Cubs until Jose broke down Yahure, the 23-year-old Venezuelan pitcher. So thank you, Jose. You helped me very much there. Tyrone Coleman, ready to roll. Rem Mo says, you don't like your pet pigeon? No, they just fucking, God, they're just banging all day. And I got a 7-month-old and a 4-year-old in a 1-bedroom apartment here in Parkdale. You think I'm banging all day? Do I look like I'm relaxed? No, I look full, completely chock full. I haven't busted nothing too fucking long. Maybe that's coming across right now. For fuck's sakes. Okay, let's get to work. Right now. Jim Rome's says, fading Velasquez paid my rent. Thank you. Okay, in NFL, it was goddamn fucking awful. If I just never went against if the tickets are one thing, but if the money's on the other side, if I just never bet against where the full cash is, I'd be richer than I am right now. And it's very hard for me not to move on the Denver Broncos, who are in a similar situation. But all the late money came in on the Jaguars, and here I was holding my nutsack with Bengals first half and full game like a chump. Jacksonville, Cincinnati over, I still think was the right play. 0-3, minus 3.33 units. NFL picks left. We'll go over that when we do our NFL review. NCAA football, cash to Virginia, Miami, under 63.5. And that was, we broke down the statistics of that game, and it all pointed to the over. Everything pointed to the over. What didn't point to the over? All of the cash on the under. The tickets were on the over. The cash was on the under. And I was like, you know what? It's sharp fucking money. Let's just go with it. And I did. And look, yes, it was 30-28 with 9 minutes left, but it was 16-7 at the half. There's always going to be a quarter when these high-scoring teams go off on each other. And I wish that kid hit the field goal, the 37-yarder that fucking clanked. When I was younger, I got joy out of other people's trials and tribulations. And when I was younger, that would have made me happy. I would have, you fucking loser. But not anymore. I feel bad for the kid. That's got to hurt. And, the Hurricane players handled it well. And then, of course, Virginia parties like they've won the fucking national championship in this kid's face. It was fucking sad. All right, let's get to work right now. We start at 6:35 p.m. Eastern. Cincinnati Reds at Pittsburgh Pirates. Reds 82-77, 38-40 on the road. Pittsburgh Pirates 59-100, 35-43. Also, those of you who hate baseball, well, this is the last day we have a full MLB baseball card. So congratulations. And we are sitting here, and I have not accomplished my goal. 348 wins, 317 losses, 52.3%, down 5.87 units because of VIG. ROI minus 0.88%. And last year, if you guys rolled with Nolly and I last year in the playoffs, it was spectacular. It was the best run I probably ever had in my life in baseball. And so I still have hopes to get that in the plus units. Luis Castillo on the bump against Will Crow. 70 Fahrenheit clear, 2 miles per hour to right. We're at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And there's my guy, Sharon, in the house. Luis Castillo, 8-16. 8-16 for a team that's 82-77. 4.05 ERA, 1.35 whip, 182 in a third, 187 K, 72 walks, 19 home runs. JL says, do you find it hard in betting irrelevant games to me? Ask Viper. No, I seem to fucking love that shit. If I find an angle and I bet on something, I don't care what the fuck it is. I love it. I love it. I just want to gamble. And I'm probably thankful that I have a young family, and because if I was in Vegas, I mean, I'd just be gambling and drunk all day and night, and it's probably not the healthiest thing. So I think that my family kind of keeps me alive, probably. All right. Castillo, 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 3 walks, 6 Ks, and a 3-2 loss at home versus Washington. This would be a spot in the pitcher's park where I would think we can back Castillo and move on the under. Deacon Mike says, can we bet on the Pigeons? No, you can pay me to watch them bang if you'd like. You can pay me to watch them bang. At home, yes, this is a split. So at home, he's 6-8 with a 3.18 ERA, 2.49 opponent's batting average. On the road, 2-8, 5.08 ERA, 2.59 opponent's batting average. Is his road splits enough to keep us off this game? Can we trust that Luis Castillo is going to be trying in his last start of the year? These are questions that you have to ask yourself. Great to see everybody here in the chat. Mikey P, Eric Rosas, Mark Schillingberg, Lou Chase Fox, Deacon Mike, Mally Mal, Ski Prophet, Jim Rome's a douche. All right, let's go here. And I'm going to copy and paste. The Taint play of the day is in. Taint play of the day is in. BYU Utah State under 63.5. Going to copy and paste that right now. Looking forward to go over all of that. Can't wait to talk football. Okay, so Reds, Pirates, and I got to keep this pace up. Kevin DeFreitas, what's happening, my man? Will Crow, 4-8, 5.77 ERA, 1.63 WHIP, 102 Ks and 110 2/3, still 55 walks, bad K to walk ratio. His last start was okay. He's at the Phillies, 4 2/3, 8 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 homers, 4 walks, 2 Ks. And look, Andrew McInnes in the house as well. Great to see you, Andrew McInnes. Star of the Ice Guys rolling with us. And Hoopside 90 things all over the Terrapins. I can't wait to talk about it. Okay. At home, he's 1-5 with a 5.07 ERA, 2.65 opponent's batting average. Much better than he is on the road. 3-3, 6.47 ERA, 3.04 opponent's batting average. The Reds are still hitting righties, but who's going to be in this lineup? You know, I've not made a bet on this MLB card, and I was like, you know, if you break down all these games and don't make a bet, that's okay. It's okay. Who's going to be in this Reds lineup? They don't care. If we don't know who's going to be in the Reds lineup, and we know that they don't care, and their bullpen has been very good, leave it to the fucking Reds to have the shit bullpen all year. And once they're eliminated, step up. 3.58 ERA, 1.06 WHIP over the last 30 days. Pirates bullpen, 4.36 ERA, 1.42 WHIP. No, this game pops out. Luke Murphy saying lineups out. And Brian Watson says 2 taints. Do we have 2 taints? No, we have the summer of taint. And, okay, so let's move over to the market in this spot. This one's out. So the Reds open up minus 164. They're now minus 184, a 20-cent move towards them. That tells me that, well, we'll look where the money lies, but it tells me that the line's going to be pretty good. This was originally juiced to the under 8.5 at minus 109. It's now at minus 106 at Pinnacle. So every other book has the under juiced. Pinnacle doesn't. Pinnacle's moved 3 cents to the over. And remember how important Pinnacle is. Remember when I lost, God, it's been a wild fucking roller coaster of a week. Do you remember when I lost my shirt on the Edmonton Elks Ottawa Red Blacks game? And Pete broke it down on Tuesday. And he said, okay, he's going to be on the Edmonton Elks first half. And I went over to the market and I said, oh, look, Pinnacle's giving you the best line on the first half. Like as if that was a good thing. And he said, no, that's a bad thing. That's a very bad thing. And, of course, Red Black storm out, and they're up 14-0 right away. It's very important to keep an eye on these market moves. Very important. Okay, let's move over to the baseball data, and then we'll move from there to the market. Against Castillo, 250 with a 664 OPS. Nice numbers there. Against Will Crow, 353 with a 1.303 OPS. And look, we have no tickets in today, too. I know this isn't going to help us at all, I guess, all day. But in this spot, 870 tickets in. 70% of the tickets, 55% of the cash on the Reds. So that's interesting. With a 20-cent move to the Reds, that's surprising. And then you have 58% of the tickets on the under and 32% of cash on the under. Look, there's no move for me in this game. There's CT Bays in the house. CT Bays cashed on that under. There's certain cappers, and we all have them, where you've got to look, you've got to plan, and then you see a capper on the other side, and you're like, oh, God, I'm fucked. Seeing CT Bays on the under I knew I was in trouble. There's LJ from H-Town in the house. Okay, so let's move on. 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Ulysses Hayes had Texas money line last night. Nice job. I mean, I cashed with that first 5 very, very easily on the Angels, but great job with Texas. All right. Red Sox Nationals next up. 89-70 are the Red Sox, 40-38 on the road. Washington Nationals 65-94, 35-43 at home. Nationals Park in Washington, D.C., 67 Fahrenheit clear, 3 miles per hour sideways in. We have no time. We got to get through all these games, but I can't help but think I'll get a little bit of joy if I see how angry Jose is over his Boston Red Sox, just shitting the bed when they need him most, shitting the bed when they need victories because they can't be trusted, these fucking Bo Sox. Jose, what did you think about that loss last night to the lowly Orioles?
It felt like just repeatedly just getting just kicked right in the tank, just every time, and it hurt my feelings, and I feel like dying.
Woo! Obviously, that man's never been kicked in the taint before because it's actually kind of nice. All right. Eduardo Rodriguez, 11-8, 4.93 ERA, 1.39 WHIP, 151 2/3, 178 Ks, 19 home runs. Last start, 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, no homers, 1 walk, 8 Ks, and a 6-3 loss at home versus the Yankees. Oh, Razor, I share the chuckle. Oh yeah, let's just sit in that for a second. Oh, Boston Red Sox.
Don't let them get hot, God damn it. Don't let them get hot. They're going to win this series. They're going to win this series. They're going to go into New York.
All right. We have Eduardo Rodriguez going up against Josh Rogers here on the bump. And Josh Rogers, we had Nolly Knows break down Rogers from a psychological aspect, and it was great. Rogers coming off of 2 Tommy Johns. Clearly, he's brought a little bit of excitement into the clubhouse here. Rodriguez at home, 4-4, 5.95 ERA, 282 opponents batting average. He's been a little better on the road. 7-4, 4.22 ERA, 276 opponents batting average. Rogers 2-1, 2.73 ERA, 1.21 WHIP, 29 2/3, 19 Ks, 11 walks, 5 home runs. His last start was okay. Actually, I guess it was bad, to be honest with you. 4 2/3, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 homers, 4 walks, 3 Ks. I mean, the line isn't that bad, but it was against a Reds team that's not hitting lefties. The Red Sox are hitting lefties. 278, 763 OPS. You know what? It's probably good that the Red Sox get out of Dodge. Get out, leave Fenway. This is probably going to help them. Nats, lefties, power's gone. They're still hitting for a high average, 271, but 735 OPS. Red Sox bullpen, when I said it was the Red Sox bullpen that would cost the team the wild card chance, it wasn't the Red Sox bullpen. They actually have been okay of late, 3.78 ERA, 1.32 WHIP. Nats bullpen, 6.16 ERA, 1.70 WHIP. Let's see what the market is here in this spot. The Red Sox opened up at minus 179. Now they're minus 186, and this total juice to the under 9.5, being a 1 cent move towards the over. Let's move over to baseball data here. Against Rodriguez, 143, 563 OPS. Against Rogers, 429, 929 OPS. Look, I don't believe. Oh, they just played in Baltimore. You're right, Puzzler. It wasn't even in Fenway. What am I talking about? Good call. Huh. Are the Red Sox just going to be terrible? Gregory Ruiz said, fuck Boston. I lost 3K on them, but thank God I've been winning with Dodgers. Yeah, and Giants all week. They're a hell of a ball club. You know, let's take a look at this a little further. Do we have a number? We have 1,828 tickets in. Unfortunately, that's the most sample size we're going to have all day. Oh, actually, the Angels Mariners. We have 62% of the tickets, 74% of cash on the Red Sox, 54% tickets, 53% cash on the over. You know, I think the Red Sox switch cities and win comfortably. I think the Red Sox switch cities and get a big win here. I'm going to move on the Boston Red Sox on the -1.5 line. Let's see what Jose thinks about that. Jose, jump back on here for a second. What do you think about backing Rodriguez and the Red Sox here?
Well, Jimmy, personally, I don't think you can bet on the Red Sox. I know I've abandoned betting on the Red Sox, but I don't know if this makes you feel better or worse about that selection, Jimmy. Last night when they traveled to New York, they did their rookie dress-up day, and they did the Power Rangers. So they had Power Rangers on the plane flight. They're feeling good. They're feeling loose still. Vibes are not completely dashed. So everything's fine. They're going to win this game. Patrick Corbin's washed up. He was never good. He just had one good October with the Nationals. Eduardo Rodriguez.
Patrick Corbin? Okay, it's Rogers, though.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought it was Patrick Corbin.
No worries.
But, yeah, no, I think the Red Sox, they're going to win. They're going to win. They're not feeling down about themselves. I can tell you that. They're not. It's not a doom and gloom yet. If they lose one of these games, yes. But
why would they dress up as Power Rangers when they're shitting the bed and so much is on the line? I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. There's Maxwell Smart in the house. North Dakota State -10.5. Our man Max has been eating in FCS. Let me get that locked in here under the Say Hey Play Day. Okay, I'm going to Lucha's Fox says Sox are clearly the spot tonight. They need the game bad, and on paper the better team. Maybe they find a way to lose. Red Sox are pass. Eric Jones on Nats money line. I'm going to move on the Red Sox. I think I think it's a smash and grab. I think that Rogers' fairy tale bullshit is over. I think this is a Red Sox smash and grab. I'd be curious to see what I would get on the first 5 alternative line as well. I think Rodriguez steps up here. It's gone. How did that just fucking go? Okay, I'm going to have to look at that later. I think it's a smash and grab spot. I think that Rodriguez steps up for the boys. So, all right, I'm going to move on your Red Sox. They better come through for me.
Well, you don't want to tell my picks, but you tell the Red Sox are floundering. So that makes a whole lot of sense.
Look, I'm proud of your record, and you've been excellent this year. And there will come a time when we ride together. Okay, we move on. I think the Red Sox are the play here. I love the switching cities. I love not believing in John Rogers. Look, John Rogers' fairy tale story was great. Now he's going to get touched. We move on to 7:07 p.m. Eastern. Baltimore Orioles at Toronto Blue Jays. Rogers Center in Toronto, Ontario. 52-107, 25-53 on the road are the Orioles. These Jays 88-71, 44-33 at home. 63 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 6 miles per hour out to right. We do not know who is pitching for these Orioles still. Does anybody know? Does RotoWire have it up? Maybe RotoWire will have this up. Let's just check and see if RotoWire has this up. Actually, can somebody do that for me right now while I'm going to break down Steven Matz because we don't have a ton of time. Matt's 13-7, 3.88 ERA, 1.35 WHIP, 143, 230, 39 Ks, 42 walks, 17 home runs. Last start, 3 innings. It's Eshelman, says Slatsy. Okay, we'll study that in a second. 3 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, no homers, 2 walks, 6 Ks, 7-2 loss at the Twins. I don't know what to do really with the Blue Jays because I was thinking, man, I hope they don't make the playoffs so we get a really nice number on them next year. But then I was like, look, how could they be better next year when they're not going to have Robbie Ray because he's going to sign this huge extension? I mean, Steven Matz has this huge year at 3.88 ERA, 1.35 WHIP that I had no expectation for. I'd be shocked if – thank you, Henry. I'll grab that in a second. I'd be shocked if he can do this again. Maybe he's capable of it. We have an infield that's just absolutely raking. Mark Semien is hitting 44 home runs. He's not going to be on the team next year. He's going to get a huge contract. So maybe we're in big trouble. Let's grab this here NHL from Birdie that I missed. Where is it? And then my personal NHL plays, Birdie copied that and pasted. There may be a Birdie's Bird Nest. There may not be. We don't know at this point.
It's on screen for you.
Oh, there is okay. The Bird Nest builder is there. Shit. Okay. Thank you. Where is that? Was that before the Bird's Nest Builder? Come on. Okay. Can someone post that again for me so I can quickly copy and paste it? Thank you. Okay. So back to this spot. Eshelman's going to be on the other side. Let's just put up Eshelman here and just take a look at his numbers very quickly. Old Thomas Eshelman. Let's get over there. Come on. Okay, that's coming right now. Here we go. Second round pick in 2015 draft out of Cal State Fullerton, out of Carlsbad High. This year, 7.2 ERA, 0-2, 25 innings. God, look at that. WHIP 1.64. It's just atrocious. He went down to AAA, and AAA is 0-4 with a 7.80 ERA down there. And that gets him back up into the majors? God. Oh, thank you, Max. There, Max. Thank you, Max. So it's – let's get this here. Pop this in. All right, copy that and paste it. It's October, which means we're still getting closer to when Maxwell Smart shines. Beautiful. Okay, thank you, guys. Okay, so let's move on here. So we have Eshelman, Matt. Matt's at home, 4-3, 4.05 ERA, 281 opponents batting average. He's been better all year on the road. 9-4, 3.76 ERA, 254 opponents batting average. The Orioles are hitting lefties right now, 266, 763 OPS. Blue Jays versus righties, 267, 845 OPS. Orioles bullpen terrible. Blue Jays bullpen being bad too. Let's see what we're dealing with here. A total of 10. It's now juiced to the under. It was opened as a juice to the over. It's now moved to the under. Wow, it even went up to 10.5 there for a second. Wow, it went up to 10.5 for 20 minutes. And, it doesn't surprise me. Let's just see if there's any cash that we can talk about in this Baltimore. I saw 983 tickets, and we only have the total 80% of the tickets, 97% of the cash on the over, and it goes from 10 to 10.5. Roto-list Eshelman's fastball at 86.6 miles an hour. The Orioles are going to get theirs too. Why wouldn't this over be in business? 6 miles per hour to right, little chilly at 63 Fahrenheit. We know that the roof's going to be open. Why wouldn't this over 10 be in business? All right, let's move on. Hoops 590. Can we pop that up as well, Jose? Hoops 590 with his action. Ulysses Hayes, I will not be talking about hockey on this show, but as soon as the season starts, we'll be talking about a ton of hockey. Elena Svitolina, WTA. Cougars money line plus 145. Terrapins money line plus 145. Utah State under 27 team total. I like that. Phillies Belinda Bencic plus 105. Aslan Karatsev minus 150. And then Challenger Loxton plus 195. Huge move. What's 225? I love it. Okay. Creo saying doubting lightning strikes twice, knows hold off not only the Red Sox but the Blue Jays too. I get that, but they're playing free with nothing to lose. What is the number on the Jays if you wanted to back them with all this spread? Oh God, minus 300. You'd want to bet the other side probably blindly. All right, so I think the over should be in play, could be in play. So we'll talk about that more in a little bit. Next up, 7:20 p.m. Eastern, New York Mets at Atlanta Braves. I want to see if I can get the rest of these games done in 25 minutes. So I'll be talking quickly. Nolly Knows will be joining us with best bets in MLB. He's got 4 games. He's got 3. Then we're going to break down 3 games on Friday tonight in NCAA football together, and then 2 games. We've each picked one on Saturday. 79 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 5 miles per hour in at Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. Mally Mal saying Braves. Tyler Megel, 3-6, 4.78 ERA, 1.33 WHIP, 84 2/3, 93 Ks, 26 walks, 19 home runs. Last start was not very good. 4 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 homers, 4 walks, 2 Ks, and a 5-1 loss at Milwaukee. He came up. He looked very good. He'd never pitched a game above AA. And he looked very good at first. Then he's starting to fall off. He's worse on the road. 0-4, 4.91 ERA, 282 opponents batting average. You know who else has been a little off lately? Another youngster, Huascar Ynoa. Still 4-5, 3.98 ERA, 1.08 WHIP. Pretty nice numbers on the year. Last start was ugly, but it was on the road where he struggled. 4 2/3, 7 hits, 7 earned runs, 3 homers, no walks, 6 Ks, 10-8 extra inning win at the Padres. At home, though, 3-2, 2.60 ERA, 168 opponents batting average. Compared to his record on the road, 1-3, 5.49 ERA, 270 opponents batting average. Both teams are hitting righties. Mets versus righties last 30 days, 253, 783 OPS. Braves versus righties, 257, 789 OPS. And the Braves bullpen has been lights out for about 2 months now. 2.87 ERA, 1.14 WHIP over the last 30 days, while the Mets bullpen, 3.87 ERA, 1.28 whip over the last 30 days. Let's move over to the baseball data next up. Baseball data in this spot. By the way, the Orioles against Mets, 265, 790 OPS. So against Megal, 250, 702 OPS. And only Javi Baez has seen Inoa. Yeah, Mally Mouse saying Braves plus over. This just might be the spot. Let's take a look at how much it's going to cost us. Wow, opens up at minus 115, now minus 118. Why would it be so cheap? It doesn't make sense. The movement, there's been no movement on this total. I know the Braves don't care. They have nothing to play for. But why would it be so cheap? That can't make any sense. Does that make any sense to anybody? Why would they set the line at that number? The Mets are 29 and 49 on the road. Oh, that's so sweet that Dawn sits next to you, Kev. Please send her my love. And couples that cap together, stay together, flourish together. Crystal Warren says Braves will probably be playing the Bat Boys and the Peanut Hawkers. Day off for everyone else. CD Base says, I hate taking teams the night after they clinch. Yes, they did, Robert Cherry. Look, Mally Mouse is probably because of Inoa's struggles. The line's minus 115. That's just. I think Crystal's right. I've got to go. I've got to leave this game alone. I was thinking at first. I was like, I didn't want anything to do with the Inoa. But then when I said Inoa's out loud, his home stats out loud, I was like, look at these home stats. Maybe it's a bounce back spot. There's our guy, Top Set. Home. Top Set's home. Oh, Top Set. That makes us so happy. Top Set is home. Oh, that's so wonderful. That's so wonderful. Stay home. Let's keep you home, man. Top Set out of the ICU and back home. Oh, that makes us so happy. Oh, man. We love you, Top Set. Heal up, and know that you're loved, man. Okay, I'm off this Mets-Braves spot. I don't want Tyler Megal at all. And, it could have a bounce-back start. If that's the case, you'd think that the under would be in play. But do you really want to bet that? I don't know. Mally Mal Bieber did do well for my man Jose, but in the fourth inning, Logan Allen came in and he must have been shitting his pants. But I was happy that it cashed. I guess, is the under going to be in play? Is the first 5 under going to be in play? Can you trust Tyler Megal enough against the Braves backups? Probably. But it's their both bullpens are pitching so well. Maybe the under 8.5 is in play, but maybe. Okay. Let's go. CT Base says those dudes get hammered. Devin Williams so drunk he got hurt. It's a lot of those dudes don't drink often. So they get a few beers in them and they're just All right, we move on to 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Creo says, don't trust Megal, but what if it's against backups? Then can we trust them? I agree with you. Okay, Max, bring it down properly. Okay, we go to 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Cleveland Indians at Texas Rangers. Indians 78 and 81, 38 and 40 on the road. Rangers 59 and 100, 35 and 43 at home. Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. Is the roof going to be closed again because it's 78 Fahrenheit, humid, mostly cloudy, 6 miles per hour sideways? Isn't that exactly? Mally Mouse said Dommy Gunn yesterday said the Mets will win these games now. They don't matter, but I like the Braves. Wait on lineup then. Yeah, it's tough. Eric Jones is on the over in this Indians-Rangers spot. Wouldn't the roof be open on a night like this? It's just constantly closed, but you'd have to think that this would be the spot where they'd open it up. Eli Morgan on the hill against Spencer Howard. Eli Morgan, 4-7, 5.27 ERA, 1.25 whip, 79 Ks, 83 and 2/3. We know he's going to be a big part of this rotation moving forward. There's my guy DX Filer in the house. Gamblestein ready to get to work. Last start for Eli, 6 innings, 1 hit, no earned runs, 1 walk, 6 Ks, and a 6-0 win at home versus the White Sox. At home, he's been terrible. 2-6, 7.20 ERA, 284 points batting average. Get him out on the road, and he throws freely. 2-1, 3.03 ERA, 218 opponents batting average. Spencer Howard, a big part of that trade with the Phillies. And he's been bad with the Rangers. 0-2, 9.17 ERA, 1.70 whip, 17 2/3, 90 K, 7 walks, 3 homers. In his last start, 4 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 homer, no walks, 4 Ks, and 8-5 win at the Orioles. Indians aren't hitting righties, 238, 675 OPS last 30 days. Rangers aren't hitting righties, 257, 681 OPS. And both bullpens are pitching well. So this game opened up at 9. Then under 9 has had 10 cents of movement. And that makes sense to me. The Rangers are going to go down to plus 100. What are they at right now? The Cleveland opened up at minus 120. They're now minus 116. Money coming in on Texas, which means Howard's going to have a good start. Both bullpens pitching well. Let's go to the baseball data. Oh, it's probably going to scare us. Against Eli Morgan, they're 8 for 18. Nate Lowe is 3 for 3 against him with a double and a jack. Adolis Garcia 2 for 3 against him with a double. Yeah, Mally Mel. There's a couple books that do, but I'll check in with Pete to make sure that I'm giving the right information. You got to think that the under 9 would be in play, except even if the roof's open, probably. Eli Morgan coming off a great start. I'm going to take the under 9. Kev, that means a ton to me. Thank you for those kind words. And, friends, it's what we do. We stick by each other in tough times. And I know you would be there for me. So just know you guys are loved, man. And thank you for those kind words. I think the under 9 is in play. I don't want to have a ton of action, but look at these bullpens. Indians bullpen, 3.47 ERA, 1.25 whip over the last 30 days. Rangers bullpen, 3.70 ERA, 1.25 whip over the last 30 days. Neither team's hitting righties. Oh, yeah, Michael O'Brien. Don't worry. We'll be doing the MLB playoffs. I have no idea exactly what we'll do on Tuesday, Wednesday, but don't worry. We'll fill it up. Hoops 590 says, look at those ERAs. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the reason why we're going to get that 9 instead of an 8.5. Creo says Howard splits are horrible. I don't think we should bother with Howard splits because he started the year on the Phillies. He moved over to the Rangers. I mean, his splits are going to be a mess. And Creo saying 5 ERA at night. I don't even think we should worry about that. I mean, he's just got a 5 ERA on the season. He was terrible in the first half of the year. I mean, if you want to go to splits in a situation like this, the only splits that we could actually trust would be Eli Morgan's. And, oh, come on. You're really going to – okay, somebody move over here. I'm going to put that game on. Well, why would you? Oh, yeah, Dev Fan. Every Sunday, all football season, we'll be doing that show. And every week there'll be a different group of cappers with me, and I enjoy it very much. Okay. Here, let's just get this going here. Sorry, my bad. Let me just – I don't know why I need to hum and haw on this more. I do think the under is the play. I do think Spencer Howard's capable of a good start here against this Indian team that's not pitching. The market move towards the Rangers is telling us that Spencer Howard's going to have a good start. But if you want to go over splits for any pitcher, it would be Eli because we have the sample size and he's been on one team. And if you look at this, so this is a perfect example of Eli Morgan. And this is the only split to really focus on. In May, well, 2 innings, okay. In June, he has a 7.24 ERA. In July, a 5.40 ERA. In August, a 4.45 ERA. In September, a 3.27 ERA. Every month it's going down, and then he throws a scoreless 6-inning start last out. So I am moving on the under 9. That is an official play, and a bet for me after the show. Next up, 8:10 p.m. Eastern, Minnesota Twins. Oh, wow. Look at that. Brady says, I bet Sabres plus 130 this morning. They're now minus 140. Wow. Ski Profit, yes, I am keeping records on that Sunday show too, but I'm just doing that personally. I never cleared it with everybody that I would, share their records. So if a capper has a winning record on that show, then I will talk about it. That's something you need to clear with people. Say, look, I'm going to track your records. I'm going to talk about it. It's probably not fair just to do it. But yes, I have tracked everybody's record because I love that. I love that stuff. And every show that you guys watch, they should track their records. And the reason why people don't track their records is because it's often, negative, and then maybe people won't watch that show. It's risky. So I get, people want to keep their jobs. SBR didn't want Pete and I tracking our records. They're like, you guys are going to lose. People aren't going to want to watch your show. And we were like, we'd rather be honest and transparent. And, but yes, I've tracked everybody's record, and I fucking love it. And I got spreadsheets for them and everything. Okay, we move on. Twins, Royals, Kauffman Stadium, Kansas City, Missouri, 74 Fahrenheit, overcast, 4 miles per hour, out to left center. John Gant going up against John Heasley. Gant, 1-4, 4.55 ERA, 1.21 WHIP, 29 2/3, 33 Ks, 13 walks, 4 home runs. In his last start, 3 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 1 homer, solo shot, 2 walks, 1 K in a 6-1 loss at home versus the Jays. Heasley, 0-1, 3.86 ERA, 1.18 WHIP, 9 1/3, 5 Ks, 2 walks, 2 home runs. He's a 24-year-old, 13th round pick in the 28 draft out of Oklahoma State. In AA Northwest Arkansas, because that's where he pitched before coming up here, he was very good. 7-3, 3.33 ERA, 1.23 WHIP, 105 1/3, 120 Ks, 34 walks, 11 home runs. And look at Ski's action. Here we go. I'm on Iowa and the under overnight, Dodgers under 8.5 and White Sox under 8.5. We're just so fortunate to cap together with everybody and share angles, and it's just selfless. It's selfless capping. Nobody asking for anything in return. Just want us as a group to succeed, and Ski's a big part of that. So Sean Thompson here and joining us. All you guys, we do this together, and I love it. Okay, so back to the spot. Heasley's looked pretty good in a very small sample size. The Twins are not hitting righties right now, 227.05 OPS. I have no idea what you're going to get from Gant. Royals, 259, 734 OPS. Both bullpens are pitching very well. I mean, would it shock you here that it's a low-scoring game? It wouldn't shock me. But Pinnacle's moved it to the over from the under. That's nerve-wracking. The under 9.5 was minus 114, and just looking at that number, you think, oh, well, that would be a nice spot. We don't need to bother with the batter versus pitcher data in this spot, but let's go with see where if there's any money that's moved on this game at all. Minnesota, KC, just 453 tickets, 90% on KC. I'm not going to sit here and give a legitimate feel on John Heasley. I don't know what the hell he's going to do. I don't know. Let's just move past this game. But if Pinnacle had moved towards the under, I'd be on it. So, but when they move towards the over, I will trust them and move on. 8:10 p.m. Eastern next up. Oakland Athletics at Houston Astros. We're at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. So the roof is being closed night in and night out, but it's a gorgeous night in Houston. 75 Fahrenheit, a little humid, overcast, 6 mile per hour wind out. Let's see if these guys open the roof. Let me just pop this into this is one stadium where we get the information. Pop this in. MLB Blogs, roof and gate report. And it's closed. I guess it's the swamp ass that Jose taught us so much about. Okay, there's North Ender. North Ender, we've missed you, my man. All right. And Crystal Woodson Gant hasn't been too bad lately. I guess they're expecting the Twins to smash Heasley. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right. Heasley? And CT based on Iowa behind their elite offensive line, defensive running back Maryland, not quite ready for this one. I can't wait to talk about this game, and I know we got to get through baseball. This is the last day. Those of you who are so tired of baseball, this is our last full day. Sean Thompson says, yep, Astros, Hulk, smash. And LJ says it's raining out here in Houston. Okay. I hear that. Minaya going up against Framber, Valdez, and there could be pitching changes as I go through these games. as this game means so little to these teams. Valdez and the Astros open up -116. They're now -130, a 14-cent move towards them. The under 8.5 is at -107 opener. It's now -108, so a 1-cent move towards the under. Manaea, 10-10, 3.94 ERA, 1.22 whip. 188 Ks and 173 and 2/3, 40 walks, 25 home runs. In his last start, 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 homer, solo shot, 1 walk, 8 Ks, 2-1 win at home versus the Astros. So both Valdez and Manaea just faced each other in the same spot. And it's tricky when pitchers face a lineup again the next time. And from a very simple standpoint, I always feel like if you just bet the opposite of what happened in that first meeting, you'd probably have a winning ROI, but I have no numbers to back that up statistically, so I probably shouldn't even say it. Valdez, 11-5, 2.98 ERA, 1.26 whip. In his last start, that 2-1 loss at the A's, 6 2/3, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 0 home runs, 4 walks, and 3 Ks. Brian Dance, they don't have a dome, but they can open up their roof. So call that whatever you want to call it. I'm a fucking alcoholic. God, I loved that shit when I was growing up. A's versus lefties, 223, 696 OPS. Astros versus lefties, 254, 839 OPS. A's just have given up. A's bullpen, 6.37 ERA, 1.48 whip over the last 30 days. Astros bullpen, 3.88 ERA, 1.34 whip. What do you when I continually say that I have trouble capping pitchers the second time they face an opponent, immediately after, I struggle. And I shouldn't just keep saying it because that shit gets in your head. Against Manaea, 237, 705 OPS. Against Valdez, 200 with a 473 OPS. All right. All right, let's see where the money lies. The market move, we already went over that 14-cent move towards the Astros. Again, the tickets are coming in, so we're starting to get some tickets in that will help us make these decisions. Just 580 tickets here. We only have money line. And it's 40% of the tickets on the A's, 80% of cash. The A's have given up. Mally Mal said the opposite happened last week, and Keuchel faced the Tigers again, and he supports that theory. I wish I had some numbers to back it up, Mally. But, yeah, it does feel that way. I can't move. I can't have an angle that I believe in this spot, really. But if it's a meaningless game, you'd have to think that these pitchers succeed. Simply put. But they're seeing the lineup again for the second straight time, so. All right, let's move on. Oh, thank you, Sammy. We'll need that when we get up to that game because that will be shortly. Next up, Chicago Cubs at St. Louis Cardinals, Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. 69-60 are the Cubs, 30-48 on the road. And again, shout out to Jose for his breakdown on Yahoo yesterday that got me paid. Thank you. Going up against the Cards, 44-34 at home, 74 Fahrenheit, overcast, 7 miles per hour, sideways. Do we know who's pitching for the Cubs? It was undecided before. It's still undecided. There's no market. We know Dakota Hudson is pitching for the Cardinals. It's nice to see him on the bump. Tommy John surgery. He was supposed to miss the entire year. He comes now trying to get a spot on the roster, I imagine, which means he probably has a reason to pitch well. Cubs are smashing righties right now. Adonis, no, the Phillies Marlins game is a game that Nolly Knows, who's going to be joining us here shortly, is attacking. So we'll be at that game shortly. We'll have to see what the market is. Let's not sit here and guess. But if Dakota Hudson is trying to get on that roster with everything he possibly can, wouldn't he shut down this Cubs squad? This might be, if we just don't talk about it, we might be leaving money on the table because Adbert Alzolay will be pitching for the Cubs. Thank you, Puzzler. That's great help. Let's bring up what Adbert Alzolay has done because we talked about him hitting the rookie wall. Come on. There we go. Come on, let's go. We don't have time for this shit. Adbert Alzolay. Okay, it's taking me a second to load up. Defensive Cards have been so great. I think they want to give them Cards fans. I think they want to give them wins knowing they could lose the road wild card game. Love the Cards this weekend. Adbert Alzolay. 4.66 ERA. He's fallen off. Let's go to his game log. Of course, 2021 game log. Here we go. He's just been coming out of the bullpen. Hasn't been starting games. Now he gets a chance to start against a lineup that may or may not care. Malima, I have no idea. I'm going to have to look into this game more, but an under in the Cards' first 5. CT Bay says TJ would be screaming Contra at home. I'll be taking the Marlins for that. Sean Thompson, Alzolay is fresh. I think the under in Cards' first 5 makes sense here. G-Sauce says, yeah, I agree completely. G-Sauce says, how long will they leave Hudson in there is a question you might want to take first half. But you have to – what we're trying to do here in the last few days of the year, who is trying? Who cares more than anything? And I think Dakota Hudson fought so hard to get back here to get a chance to be on the postseason roster. All right, let's move on to 9:40 p.m. Eastern. Colorado Rockies at Arizona Diamondbacks. Rockies 73-85, 25-52 on the road. Diamondbacks 15-109, 30-48 at home. We're at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. The roof is open, confirmed. 87 Fahrenheit clear, 2 miles per hour in. The Gray Wolf, John Gray, pitching against 23-year-old Humberto Castellano. Gray 8-12, 4.28, and Sean Thompson says Dakota will go 4. John Gray, 8-12, 4.28 ERA, 1.32 whip, 145 innings, 150 Ks, 58 walks, 18 home runs. Last start was at home where he's been better than he's been on the road. But it wasn't very good. 4 2/3, 5 hits, 4 runs, 2 homers, 0 walks, 5 Ks, and a 7-2 loss versus the Giants. Michael O'Brien says, I'm almost an hour in and I'm still confused as hell. Look, it's a tricky MLB card. But we're going to get best bets from Nolly Knows here in a second, which will help guide us. On the road, 3-7, 4.59 ERA, 2.79 opponents, batting average. Humberto Castellano, he is coming off a good start at home versus Dodgers, which isn't easy. 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 2 walks, 1 K, 4.28 ERA, 1.33 whip. Guy's got a lot of upside. Rockies aren't hitting right. Well, they are a bit. 243, 723 OPS, but the Diamondbacks are not at all. 214, 635 OPS. Both bullpens have been middling over the last 30 days. Better for them than they were earlier in the year. Defense is not sure why I immediately think over in Rockies D-backs even before I look at the pitchers. Well, it helps that the roof is open. Let's go to baseball data here in this Humberto Castellano spot. Against Wolf, they're hitting 318 with an 816 OPS. Against Castellano, 286, 661 OPS. Then we'll move over to the market here. The Rockies open up minus 117. That's where they stand right now. And this total hasn't – it's moved 9 cents to the over. Open at 9. It's moved 9 cents to the over. Then let's see where the cash lies. And if there's any – 718 tickets. So 58% of the tickets, 78% of the cash on the under. I can't do anything here. Ulysses says over in this game also. I get that. That's one thing that I do totally get. But if the early money's coming in on the under, and I kind of like these pitchers, I'm not going to move on it. All right, we have 2 more games before Nolly joins us. Let's hammer them quick. And I don't know what much we can do with this Padres spot because we don't have a Padres announced pitcher. Did somebody say who was pitching? I thought someone said that they know who's pitching for the Padres. Can somebody look that up right now? Because the Padres have given up. And it just would make you sick if you were a Padres fan. And the Giants at home right now need to win this game. So close to clinching. And Disclafani's been so good this year. The Padres aren't hitting righties. Crystal Warren says, I'm on the backs. They played pretty good against the Giants, and it's the Rockies on the road. That makes sense. Greg Smith, it's got to be. The Giants' full lineup's got to be. Oh, we got a razor-sharp pick 5 over at Churchill. Yeah, Musgrove's been listed, but they would have given us some sort of line, wouldn't they? So, Pedro Avila. Yeah, it was Sammy who told us that. Thank you, Sammy. Okay, here we go. Let's go over to get Pedro Avila's numbers up here. Now, how would you want to bet? How do you get the vig down on a team like the Giants that need to win and will win? Going up against a Venezuelan from Caracas, Pedro Avila. I wish I had known that earlier. Then we would have got Jose to break him down for us. Let's see what we are dealing with here. He started one game this year, went 5 1/3. Looked pretty good doing it. 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. Let's take a look at what he's done in the minors. This year, mix between AA and AAA, 2-4, 4.22 ERA, 1.35 WHIP. It's okay. Feels like the Giants run, but at what price? Mally Mal looking at an under. So that will be something we'll have to talk about when the market comes out and get some things confirmed. But how do you not back the Giants right now? When they need to win, they win. Can they do that against the elite teams in the playoffs? That's what's left to figure out. And then the final spot on the board, we do have a sample size here, so we can cap this game. 10:10 p.m. Eastern. We have Angels at Mariners. Angels 75-84, 35-42 on the road. Mariners 89-70, 45-33 at home. We're at T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington. The roof is a question mark for me. 56 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 6 miles per hour in. It's not under the. I think they go on if the game at first pitch, if it's under 55, they usually close the roof. But so I don't know what they're going to do with the roof here. Jose Suarez going up against Marco Gonzalez. Gonzalez has looked so good, so good. Nice. It's Troy versus South Carolina. I've been top set saying I have a source to give me Troy +7. It does feel like Troy can bounce back here in this spot. It's a very interesting look that I've been staring at all week. Thank you for sharing that with us, Top Set. So Suarez has been good this year. 7-8, 3.86 ERA, 1.24 WHIP. His last start was at home versus these Mariners, and he didn't look that good. 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 homer, 1 walk, just 1 strikeout. He's been better on the road than he's been at home this year. At home, 1-4, 4.68 ERA, 253 opponents batting average. While on the road, 6-4, 3.18 ERA, 213 opponents batting average. Marco Gonzalez has come on really strong in the second half of the year. His last start was in a 5-1 win at the Angels. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 solo shot, 3 walks, 5 Ks. Angels aren't hitting lefties, 232, 681 OPS. Mariners are hitting lefties quite a bit harder last 30 days than the Angels, 242, 743 OPS. Mariners bullpen is being good all year, 3.87 ERA, 1.25 WHIP. Angels bullpen has been bad all year, but I saw a market move towards the Angels early, and it's still there. Wow, a 19-cent move towards the Angels, which just stops everything for me. This total at 7.5, there's been a 1-cent move towards the under. So I'm not going to move on this game with the market move to the Angels that I can't explain. Against Gonzalez, these Angels are hitting 177 with a 643 OPS, and the market moves towards them. Against Suarez, 281, 878 OPS. I mean, that's wild. I mean, I don't know how one can quantify that. 82% of tickets, 80% of cash on the Mariners, and the 19-cent move towards the Angels is very, very perplexing. I'm not moving on that game. Let's do a quick review before we bring on Nolly of what we're doing. Again, no bets were made before I talked any of these games out. The Red Sox to smash, switching cities, and I guess loosey-goosey on the plane after Jose's breakdown of them dressing the rookies up as Power Rangers. That upsets me. I want teams to be serious in a serious time of the year, but maybe they need to loosen up a bit. I really don't know what the right answer is there. The over 10 in Baltimore, Toronto seems to make sense to me, and the under 8.5 in New York, Atlanta, under 9 in Cleveland, Texas, and I believe that's my entire. Oh, and then I want to know. I want to dive into this Cubs Cardinals a little more. The under in Cardinals first 5 with Dakota Hudson trying to get a spot on the rotation. Then the Giants, I'd like to back, depending on the price, against the Padres. I just think the Giants win out here. Rodney Barton, what is happening? All right, we move on to what I am excited about. Having our man Nolly Knows join us right now to break down his best bets on the MLB and NCAA football card. Please welcome to the show from Long Beach, California, Nolly Knows in the house. Nolly, what's happening?
What's going on, Jimmy? Thank you once again for having me on. Thank you, Pub Sports. Shout out to everybody in the chat, and I'm excited for the weekend. I got a lot of action out. I'm hoping I don't have explaining to do on Monday, but I'm excited about my card. I'm ready to get some bets in.
Let's get right after it, my man. Let's get right after it. 7:05 p.m. Eastern is where Nolly starts his card, and it is a big game. Tampa Bay Rays, 98-61, 46-32 on the road at the Yankees, 91-68, 45-33 at home. I know you like to break games down psychologically, which I love, and I wonder what the mindset is of the Rays here. 65 Fahrenheit, clear 6 miles per hour to right center. Rays don't need to do anything. The Yankees need to win desperately. Shane McClanahan on the hill for the Rays, 10-6, 3.44 ERA, 1.28 whip. What a pitcher he is. God, this brain trust of the Rays is just brilliant. 138 Ks and 120 in the third. We just lost Nolly. I'm sure he'll be back very soon. But there's Jose.
Because guess what? Jimmy, guess what time it is?
Oh, I didn't realize that. My fault. I do know what time it is.
Sound
It's
the
Jose.
alarm.
Jose just ditched. He cut Nolly because it's Jose's say play today. My fault. Okay, the say play of the day is right here. Sorry. I get a little caught up. But how would I not want this guy to share the screen with? The say play of the day is on this Rays Yankees game. And my goodness, Jose's capping very well and putting money in people's pockets. And I love that very, very, very much. He is now sitting 43-41. He's plus 4.09 units. His ROI on this show, just a shade under 5%, 4.87%. Average line plus 103, coming off a winner yesterday. Nolly Knows back in action with us. Nolly, this is also the say play of the day. So I'll quickly drop a McClanahan breakdown. His last start was great. 7-3 win at home versus Marlins. He's just been all year. Going up against Nestor Cortez, a pitcher that I really like, who's been so important to the Yankees this year. Last start was 4 in the third, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 homer, no walks, 4 Ks, and a 5-3 win at the Red Sox. Rays versus lefties, just destroying them. Before they picked up Nelson Cruz, and I know it's not all Nelson Cruz, but before they picked up Nelson Cruz, they couldn't hit lefties. Last 30 days, 293, 858 OPS. Yankees versus lefties, 255, 742 OPS. Rays bullpen, 3.93 ERA, 1.26 whip over the last 30 days. Yankees bullpen, 3.80 ERA, 1.24 whip over the last 30 days. We will start with the say play today and then head over to Nolly Knows. Here we go, Jose. Let me set the table for you. This total opened up at 9. It's now at 8.5. There is still a couple 9s out there. This Yankees opened up minus 130, a 12-cent move to the Rays. Now minus 118. Jose Bouquet running hot here on the show. Take it away.
So for those people who watch MLB Closing Time with Ian Cameron, Connor Mack, and myself on Thursdays, you'll know that I backed the Yankees as my best bet yesterday. Team total over 3.5. I figured they would get to Mr. Ray, and they did. And guess what, Jimmy? Why not ride the Yankees, Jimmy? Why not? They're gonna make the playoffs. They're gonna win the World Series. They've already done it, Jimmy. They've done it. Their season goals have done it. They've made it. They've reached that mountaintop. They've beaten everyone. They're in the playoffs. Congratulations, New York Yankees. You're there. And why not? You've got a 6 FIP against Shane McClanahan, a 4.5 for the team total plus 105. You can't give a Shane McClanahan off the lowly Rays. They can't. They have no budget. The Yankees. They've got to do it, right, Jimmy? It's a team total Yankees over 4.5 for me. Got to do it.
I think you're buckling under the pressure. It's funny because as the Red Sox have been losing, you have been winning on this show, and yet you are still buckling under the pressure. Yankees team total over. Wild. And what's the number you're getting of that? 4.5 at what, Juice?
I'm getting a plus 105, actually.
Yankees team total over 4.5 at plus 105. Look at this guy. My God.
It would be a real shame if they didn't cash. It would be a real shame. This is what we call in the business an emotional hedge, everyone. The Yankees win. They dominate the Rays. I'm feeling fine. I won my bet. We're feeling great. Yankees lose. I'd hate to see it.
I don't know how anybody out there watching the show right now could trust this man.
Hey, trust that 4-unit over. You know,
You've been
trust
excellent.
that. Trust the
Yeah.
ROI.
A legitimate sample size, and you've been excellent. The say hey play of the day is in, and it's fucked up. Yankees team total over 4.5 at plus 105 for Jose. Thank you for sharing that. Let's see what Nolly Knows has to say about Jose's look and how is Nolly Knows betting this spot.
Well, I'll tell you, I think that was a great breakdown by Jimmy on Jose's analysis because, I think that's exactly what I hear in the voice right there is panic, sound like a true fan going down on fire. I can understand it. The Mariners are on that ass. I get it. And they're red hot.
I also bet the Mariners this week too, by the way. I made money on the Mariners this week.
Now, that's a good bet, But I'm going to disagree slightly here with Shane McClanahan. I understand he doesn't have that great of numbers against the New York Yankees, but this is a nice spot for him to get ready to go into the postseason. The guy that's got a 40% swing and miss rate on 3 different pitches. The guy's got electric stuff, can touch over 100 miles an hour. His worst start of the year was against them Boston Red Sox when he was dealing with a tight back. But when he comes right back, goes on the IL, comes right back, goes against the Red Sox again, only allows 1 run. So he's right back to where he was. This is a solid pitcher. I like what I've seen out of him. He did give up 9 hits, but was able to manage the Yankees to just 3 earned runs. And that's something what I like to see out of this youngster at a young age. With runners in scoring position, the batting average drops from 262 to 238. Runners in scoring position, on base 238. Scoring position drops a little bit more, 226. And you look, first time around, certain batting average, and then it goes down. Second time around, it drops. Third time around, it drops. So that's a sign of a really quality pitcher, and I expect him to come in here and pitch. What better way for the Rays to try to knock down the Yankees and at least get them out of home field because they're still playing for home field, and that matters a lot in a 1-game elimination game. So on the other side, Nestor Cortez, you talked about it, very crafty guy, completely different than the other side, but he's been getting the job done as a starter, slightly over 3 ERA, and he's done well against this Tampa Bay team. In 42 at-bats, he's only given up 10 hits, 13 strikeouts. So that's always a good sign, more strikeouts than hits. I disagree a little bit with the team total here, but I'm going full game. I actually didn't grab the 9, but I got under 8.5 on the full game. Yankees have been pretty profitable to the under. Oh, and another thing, the Tampa Bay Rays pitching staff has been lights out right now. Last 12 games, they haven't allowed more than 4 runs in any game, allowing 2.67 runs in that span. I'm not going against that, so I'm on the full game under.
Makes a ton of sense to me. We're just giving Jose confidence, though. Look at this guy. This guy just...
Hey, like I said, I would hate if this didn't cash. I want them to score 6 runs. I want them to score 8 runs. Beat the shit out of the Rays. I mean, you're the big bet. You have Giancarlo Stanton. Look, he is so large. His muscles are rippling. Aaron Judge, DJ LeMahieu. Oh, Garrett Cole. He's been paid so much. Oh, my God. Give it to him. This team's going to win the World Series, Jim. They're so good.
All right, that was Jose Bouquet's Say Hey play of the day, and it took everything, all of my power, not to cut him off there in that last rant. Best of luck, Jose, on your plus 105, team total over 4.5. Nolly is moved on the full game under 8.5. Let's just take a look at where the cash lies because this one does have a sample size that we can work with here. No, it doesn't. 1,122 tickets in. Wow. So 60% of the tickets, 56% of the cash on the Yankees. And then 41% of the tickets, 86% of the cash on the over, which bodes well for Jose Bouquet.
By the way, Jim, I don't know if you've checked your phone recently.
All right. So we're going to move on now. We move on to Philadelphia Phillies at Miami Marlins. That's the next game up on our man Nolly Knows' card. Phillies 81-78, 34-44 on the road. Marlins 65-94, 40-38 at home. We're at Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida. Again, I'd love someone to help us with the roof here because it's a really nice night. There is windy, 13 miles per hour, but not supposed to be much precipitation, 80 Fahrenheit. Ranger Suarez going up against Sandy Alcantara. Suarez 7-5, 1.45 ERA, 1 WHIP, 99 innings, 98 Ks, 32 walks, and 4 home runs. In his last start, complete. And I, of course, wanted to see how many pitches he threw. 96? I mean, he's been throwing in the mid-90s every game, so there's no concern there. He's just a hell of a pitcher. Going up against Alcantara, 9-14, 3.09 ERA, 1.07 WHIP, a man you can trust, especially at home. His last start was at Tampa, and it was still a quality start. 6 innings, 9 hits, 5 runs, 3 earned runs. No walks, 6 Ks, 7-3 loss. But at home, he's 2-5 with a 2.17 ERA, 195 opponent's batting average. On the road, 7-9, 4.01 ERA, 247 opponent's batting average. Mariners versus lefties last 30 days, 182 with a 536 OPS. How are they going to get to Suarez? Both bullpens have been poor of late, especially the Phillies bullpen. Nolly Knows. Let's set the table for you right now. Your game 2 on your card. Suarez, Alcantara. This total opened up at 7, juice to the under. There's been a 2-cent move to further. Under 7 minus 109. It opened at Pinnacle. Now it's under 7 minus 111. And the Phillies opened up as favorites. No longer. The Miami Marlins are now very slight favorites. Nolly Knows. Phillies, Marlins, take it away.
Yeah, really excited to talk about this game. 2 pitchers that I've been really high on, and I really like what I've seen out of Ranger Suarez. You know, we talk about what he did last time out in the complete game, under 100 pitches. We call that a Maddox. You know, Greg Maddox was the king of that, and only 1 or 2 pitchers to be able to do that. The other guy, Max Fried from the Atlanta Braves, you know, so that's a really high accomplishment here in the major leagues. And the guy that's looked phenomenal here in the month of September, 1.41 ERA, just 1 home run allowed in 32 innings pitched. Opponent's batting average just 207 against these Miami Marlins. He faced them on September 4th, gave up 0 earned runs, just 2 hits, 7 strikeouts, and 5 innings pitched, and 33 total at bats against him. He's only allowed 7 hits. 10 strikeouts in that span, so always more strikeouts than hits is always great. The opponent's only hitting 108 against him total, and you look at this Marlins team that really hasn't been able to produce much. They haven't scored more than 3 runs in 7 straight games, and we mentioned that 3 runs. The Phillies haven't done that in 5 straight games, and here they have a tough task facing Sandy Alcantara. He's looked great in the month of September, 2.29 ERA, 37 strikeouts in 35 innings, and a big deal for him, he's going for number 200 strikeout. He's 5 strikeouts away from that, looking to become only the 5th Marlins pitcher in their history to do that. And he's only 1 of 3 pitchers to have more than 200 innings pitched and less than a 3.1 ERA. The other 2, Zach Wheeler and Adam Wainwright. You know, so it's time to start mentioning him with the elite because that's what he is. You know, last time out against the Phillies, though, ends up giving up 5 runs, but only 3 of them earned runs. But the other 2 starts against them, he was really electric, specifically here at home. 8 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 earned runs. So I'm looking for him to get those 5 strikeouts. I'd expect him to come out and pitch extremely well. The total does seem a bit low, but hey, I like what I've seen. The inability of these 2 teams to hit and the way these guys are pitching, I'm liking the under. I grabbed the first 5 under 3.5. You got to drop the purse sometimes.
Makes a ton of sense to me. First 5 under 3.5. Crystal Warren on it as well. I know it's a low total, but this one really makes sense. Ski Profit liking the full game better than the 3.5. The Phillies bullpen scares me, but I don't think there's anything wrong with either. But I think I'm going to tail this one here, the under 3.5, first 5 under 3.5 with these 2 studs on the mound and nobody caring at all in this spot. And Dat Fan, don't worry, you're good. Nolly is not on a first 5 under on Jays Orioles. You are good. Okay, so there we go. Phillies Marlins first 5 under 3.5. And Top Set says great breakdown, Nolly. Let's move on to Nolly's next spot. Detroit Tigers, Chicago White Sox, guaranteed rate field in Chicago, Illinois. 76-83 are the Tigers, 34-44 on the road. White Sox 91-68, 51-27 at home. 74 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 7 miles per hour in. Willie Peralta going up against Lance Lynn, the Bulldog. Peralta 4-4, 3.08 ERA, 1.29 WHIP. Just 55 Ks and 87 2/3, but he gets a lot of soft contact. Last start, 4 2/3, 8 hits, 2 earned runs, no homers, 3 walks, 3 Ks, and a 2-1 loss at home versus the Royals. He's been really good at home. He's been really good all year. I still don't trust him. 1-1, 2.16 ERA, 2.44 opponent's batting average at home. On the road, 3-3, 3.64 ERA, 2.36 opponent's batting average, a little worse. And then you have the Bulldog Lance Lynn and a horse racing look from Dennis Trusty that I will talk about here in a second. Lance Lynn, 10-6, 2.72 ERA, 1.07 whip, 172 Ks, 152 innings. Last start, 6 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 homers, 0 walks, 6 Ks, 6-0 losses at the Indians. Seems like he will want to be sharp going into the playoffs, and this is his last opportunity to do that. So I expect him to have a nice start here. Tigers is righties 246, 754 OPS. White Sox is righties 259, 737 OPS. Neither hitting really hard, but both bullpens have been good. Tigers bullpen 3.38 ERA, 1.35 whip over the last 30 days. White Sox bullpen 3.23 ERA, 1.18 whip over the last 30 days. I'm going to set the table for Nolly here very quickly, but Dennis Trusty has race 4 at Churchill. Says an owner trainer who claimed a horse for $12,500 had 3 starts, 2 wins, and a second. Claimed for $25,000, goes all the way out to Cali and claimed the horse back for $32,000. Wow. So again, he claimed the horse for $12,500. He has 3 starts while he owns the horse, 2 wins and a second. Then that horse gets claimed for $25,000. The owner goes all the way out to California to claim the horse back for $32K. I like that angle, Trusty. That's Alexandros at 9-2. I like that angle, Trusty. I'm going to copy and paste that right now. Thank you for sharing that with us, Trusty. And here we go for Nolly Knows in this White Sox Tigers spot. This full game or first half total was at 5. It's now dropped to 4.5, and with a 5 opener at Pinnacle. And sorry, where's money lines and totals? Sorry, this will just take a second. And oh god, still first half. Sorry, I'm losing my mind here. Here we go. The White Sox opened up at minus 240. There's been a 14-cent move towards them, and the total's gone from 9 to 8.5. Nolly Knows, take it away.
Yeah, you talk about Lance Lynn, the Bulldog, pitched well all season. A guy I'm really high on. I love the way he commands the mound out there. The great presence. 10-6 on the year, 2.72 ERA. Mentioned last time out, kind of looked like a rough outing, but when you look a little bit closer, there was 2 ground balls there in the 6th inning that should have been called errors. Even LaRussa mentioned that, a different ballpark, those are called errors. So the guy gave up some home runs early in the game, but then shut him down, was able to retire 9 batters in a row after that. So a guy that's still showing great signs. And yeah, he went on the IL and still kind of figuring some stuff out. He talks about it in a quote. He said, "We're still fine-tuning some things on certain sides of the plate." Gave up 2 home runs with 2 pitches I was mad about all night. So a guy that festers on being on failure, he hates it. The guy that I love what I see out of him. The Chicago White Sox team trending to the under right now, under 5 of the last 6 games. On the other side here for the Detroit Tigers, they've gone under in 9 of the last 12 games. A team that really doesn't hit the ball that well. And Chicago White Sox, Lance Lynn, for the White Sox has fared well against them. And 2 games started here in 2021. He's got a 1.5 ERA, 2 earned runs, and 12 innings pitched, 15 strikeouts, just a 190 batting average, only giving up 1 home run in that span. So he does pretty well against these Tigers. On the other side, Willie Peralta, crafty guy. I can understand why you're hesitant, but here in the month of September, he's been lights out. 1.75 ERA, 5 earned runs, and 25 2/3 innings, only giving up 1 home runs. I like what I've seen out of him. He hasn't faced this Chicago White Sox team since I think 2019 as a relief pitcher. So I like what I see out of him. Like I said, the temperature there, I like it. The wind's blowing in just slightly. So all indicators that I like for an under. I'm on the first 5 under 4.5 and the full game under 8.5.
A double up on unders here for Nolly Knows. Double up on unders here for Nolly Knows. Let's move back over to this spot. Sorry, just getting some stuff done with Peralta and Lance Lynn. First, can you give me what you got first 5? Did you get the 5?
No, I got 4.5 minus 105.
Under 4.5 minus 105. And the full game?
8.5. I got that one even money.
Plus 100 for Nolly Knows. Makes sense to me. Let's take a look at where the cash lies in this spot. 1,941 tickets in. 52% of the tickets, 48% of the cash on the White Sox. Interesting. Then 32% of the tickets, 87% of the cash on the under. Wow. I'm not going to double up on this game, and I think I would prefer to trust the bullpens and take the full game under here. But maybe it is just a double up spot. Sean Thompson says, yeah, Nolly, spot on. I like it. Okay, we move on to Nolly's last game on the card before we move into Friday NCAA football that I can't wait to talk about. And Nolly is going to the Brewers Dodgers game. Brewers 95-64, 50-28 on the road. Dodgers 103-56, 55-23 at home. Dodger Stadium, LA, California, Chavez Ravine, 78 Fahrenheit, clear, 4 miles per hour sideways. Eric Lauer, just like Willie Peralta, but he's been even better. Could have been had for a cup of coffee. Any team in the league could have had Eric Lauer on their team. And he was a fade. He's been a fade for years. Not this year. When he needed to keep his career together, he's been very good. 7-5, 2.93 ERA, 1.12 whip, 114 Ks, 113 and 2/3. Last start, 6 2/3, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 9 Ks, and a 5-1 win at home versus the Mets. He's been even better on the road than he's been at home. At home, 5-3, 3.12 ERA, 2.12 opponents batting average. On the road, 2-2, 2.66 ERA, 2.09 opponents batting average. Going up against Clayton Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw coming off not a very good start statistically. I didn't watch it, so I'll let Nolly explain it more. 4 in the third, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 of which were earned, 2 homers, 1 walk, 3 Ks, 7-2 loss at Arizona. He's been worse at home worse on the road than at home. On the road, 5-5. 4.06 ERA, 2.29 opponents batting average. At home, 5-3, 2.74 ERA, 2.07 opponents batting average. Brewers aren't hitting lefties, 221, 710 OPS. They have nothing to play for. The Dodgers have everything to play for, and they're hitting lefties hard, 268, 822 OPS. Brewers' bullpen has been terrible. I mean, it could be a problem here come the playoffs. 5.10 ERA, 1.31 whip over the last 30. Dodgers' bullpen being lights out, 2.40 ERA, 1.13 whip over the last 30. Here we go, Dodgers, Brewers. This total opens up at 8 at -106. There's been a 3-cent move to the under, and there has been a 29-cent move to the Dodgers from -190 to -219. Nolly Knows, Brew Crew, Dodgers, take it away.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Big game for the Dodgers, sitting 2 games out with 3 to go. Are we sitting here going to be able to pass the San Francisco Giants? Probably not. But, hey, we're looking to try to at least tie it, force a playoff game against them. That'd be nice to get to. So they're still playing. I heard interviews last night. We're still playing. We still got a lot to play for, and they're going to go give it their all. Clayton Kershaw on the bump. Big-time pitcher. I've seen him come up clutch in a big-time situation time and time again. I can understand your reluctance recently, but they're trying to get him going again. He said he's feeling good, and his command has looked really well here in the month of September, only giving up a few walks. Versus Milwaukee in 78 at-bats, he's only given up 21 hits and 27 strikeouts, just giving up a 190 batting average. But the guy that we're looking out for here is Christian Yelich. Christian Yelich is 9 of 18 with 2 home runs and a double, so watch out for him here today. But I like what I've seen out of Clayton Kershaw with his command, and here being at home where he's always pitched better. He's got a ton of wins here at home. I like that. And on the other side, you talk about Eric Lauer, who's pitched extremely well in the month of September. 1.15 ERA, 32 Ks and 31 in the third innings, just 2 home runs in that span. And you talk about in that span, he hasn't given up more than 4 hits, let alone runs. Hasn't given up more than 1 run in any of those games. The guy's been lights out, especially against the Dodgers. He's 6-0 in his career with a 1.89 ERA. So I expect him to pitch well here against us once again. And here in 2021, he went 5 innings, 4 hits, 0 earned runs. So he's given up 1 earned run or less in 5 straight. The guy's coming in pitching extremely well, and I like what I've seen. I was able to grab 8.5 last night, but I fully endorsed under 8 for the full game. I understand what you're saying, your reluctance over there with the bullpen for the Brewers, but I think they'll be able to come in here and pitch well, and it's kind of like a test for them here.
Great breakdown. Eric Jones says Kershaw's only been going 3 or 4 innings. Last game, 4 to 5 innings. And then I guess you have no concern there because the Dodgers bullpen's been lights out?
Yeah, I have no concern because we've been working that bullpen, and the reason his pitch count got out of hand in that game, so they're gonna pull him out. But I don't have concern when I talk about Kershaw at home. I've seen it time and time again.
And you stayed off the first 5. You don't want to double up?
Yeah, they were showing a 4. I wanted to get a 4.5, and I really just involving the bullpens because I do trust this Brewers bullpen to be successful here today, and I definitely trust the Dodgers bullpen.
Very, very interesting. I've got to spend some more time on this spot. There is Nolly's MLB action. Let's break it down for you. We start with Jose Seje, play of the day. Yankees team total over 4.5 at plus 105. Very strange breakdown. It's funny. It seems like he's cracking, but his picks have been very good. So he's a tricky guy to quantify. Nolly, full game under 8.5 in Rays, Yankees. Then he's moving on the first 5 under 3.5 in Phillies, Marlins, and I am tailing. Then he's on a double up in Tigers, White Sox, full game, first 5 under 4.5 minus 105, full game under 8.5 plus 100. I don't want to double up personally. I just, you get it. Like I don't want to have $300 on this game. I just makes me nervous to have that kind of money on a game where these two teams don't care that much. But I get it, and I think I'm just going to pick one, and I'm leaning towards the full game because of the strength of the bullpens. Then he's on the under 8.5 in Brewers Dodgers. That's gone down to 8, and I need more time to think about that spot. So there we have Nolly Knows action, and we'll review all of baseball later. It's time to talk football, baby. It's time to get into football. We have a great Friday night ahead of us. Let's get to work right now. Now, Taint, play of the day, is in action in the next 3 games. So we're talking about the Friday night action. Also, Summers are for Taint, and that's David Summers and Taint. Matty Ice combining, and they've won 3 straight. Summers are for Taint. They give us 1 spot each weekend, just 1 spot for Summers are for Taint, and they've hit 3 straight. And they're going for 4 in a row with Houston, Tulsa. That's where we start. Houston Cougars 3-1, 1-0 in the American. At Tulsa Golden Hurricane 1-3, 0-0 in the American. We're at Chapman Stadium in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we have 78 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy. 3 miles per hour is the wind. Let's take a look at the market, and then we'll move right from there to the cash flow and see what we are dealing with. Let's move over to both here, NCAA football, and there we go. Let's see what has happened here. So we know that the over is the Summers are for Taint. Houston opened up at plus 3.5. That's where they stand now. No movement. We'll take a closer look if there's been ever any movement, but no movement at this point. And the total should be displaying itself right now. While I'm waiting for it, this is where the cash lies. We have 8,322 tickets in. On the spread, 43% of the tickets on Tulsa, 58% of the cash. On the total, 61% of the tickets on the over and 60% of cash on the over. This total opened up at 57 and it's dropped all the way down to 54. Not only that, but it's juiced to the under. That is wild, making the over more appealing. That is a wild market move. Moving down 3 points and no fear for David Summers or for Matty Ice in this spot. Let's take a get a closer look at these total movements here. The total's just gone a downward slant the whole time. It's never gone up. Opened up at 57, down to 56. Actually went back up to 57 for a second. Then 55.5, 54.5. And listen to this. On, Tuesday, it went down to 52.5. Before going back up to 54.5 and then 54. That's wild. Wild movement towards the under. And Houston, so Tulsa opens up as 3.5-point favorites. On Tuesday, they moved to 5-point favorites. They're 5-point favorites until yesterday at 6:45 when it goes down to 4 and then to 3.5. So very interesting market moves in this game. Let's move over to the breakdown. And David Summers, look at that NCAA football record for Summers. A crucial half of the Summers are for Taint. And first quarter over 17 is a straight cash only play today, number 1. Look at those numbers. That's great. I'm going to copy and paste both of those right here. And copy and paste. Okay, let's go. Houston hits the road off 2 straight home wins. 45-0 over Grambling as 41-point favorites in a game where they held Grambling to 3 first downs. And we've seen teams in that situation face a real team the next weekend not look very good. And I'm hoping that Ohio State does the same thing after beating up on Akron. I'm hoping that they do the exact same thing at Rutgers and not cover that first half. They held Grambling to 3 first downs. Then they had a 28-20 win over Navy as 20-point favorites. It was ugly. Clayton Tune was questionable due to injury in the Navy game, and he played, and he looked very good. 22 of 30, 257 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. He now has 729 yards of passing, 5 touchdowns, and 5 picks, but 4 of them came in that loss to Texas Tech, so it's not quite as bad as it sounds. Tulsa comes in off a 41-34 home win over Arkansas State as 14.5-point favorites, and they were heavily bet. They were heavily bet after how hard they played both Ohio State and Oklahoma State. They lost on the road 41-20 to Ohio State and then 28-23 to Oklahoma State. The books made a killing off that game. Davis Brin struggled badly to start the year. UC Davis, he looked so bad. Completed 53.6% of passes, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's been intercepted 3 more times in his past 2 games, but he's throwing 5 touchdowns and throwing for 783 yards, so it's looking a little better. He has 302.3 yards passing per game. Shamari Brooks, who was a monster a few years ago, didn't miss 2020 due to injury, but he's looking good again this year. 52 carries for 292 yards. Keelan Stokes has been hurt, missing the last 2 games. He's their number 1 receiver. And this Tulsa defense looks a lot different without Zaven Collins patrolling in the middle of the field. 7th in the country last year, 4.7 yards allowed per play. This year, 5.65 yards per play. That's 85th in the country. This is an exciting game, and let's hear what Nolly Knows has to say. But we do know summers are for tank. Houston, Tulsa over 54. No fear that this market's gone down from the 57. Nolly, Houston, Tulsa, take it away.
Yeah, this is a very interesting game because I believe that when you look at both sides, there can be some misleading stats. You know, you look at Tulsa and their QB ranks 12th in the nation, over 300 yards passing per game. But he goes for over 400 against Ohio State, a very poor passing defense, and goes for 355 against Arkansas State, another very poor passing defense. But you look at against UC Davis, only 200 yards, against Oklahoma State, just 224 yards. So how are they going to fare against this Houston pass defense that accounts for 8th in the nation, 138 passing yards per game, which can also be misleading because of the opponents that they have faced. They faced a triple option team last time out, gave up 98 passing yards, faced a Grambling State team. You know, so some stats here that I look at that are kind of misleading, and how am I going to evaluate this? And that's the difficulty of this game that I see. You mentioned Tulsa not playing at the caliber of the defense that they played last year, down significantly, and I think their passing defense is kind of suspect. You know, yeah, they look to be a little bit better as well than what it shows. 226 passing yards per game, but gave up over 300 twice to Arkansas State and to UC Davis. So you look on the other side for Clayton Tune. Clayton Tune's the quarterback for Houston. He's got 5 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, but 4 of those came against Texas Tech. And the guy's completing 71.4% of his passes. So I think Houston is going to have some success through the air here in this game. I'm actually leaning towards Houston in this game more than anything. I would agree with the total going down, but it's hard for me to make a move because some of these stats are just misleading to me.
Misleading is right. And I'm hesitant to back a team off of 2 home games against weaker competition. Heading out on the road is uncomfortable. There's total going down from 57 to 54, but then seeing Matty Ice, bullish on the over. Ron Crawford also, Houston plus 3.5. Luchase Fox says over covers in Houston, Tulsa, 2 middle-of-the-road teams with more offense than defense on both teams. Max says, are you a little worried that Houston couldn't get going early versus Navy's defense? Matty Ice says, if Arkansas State can put up 30 more, how many do you think Houston's putting up tonight? I agree with you the main uncomfort for me is mixed messages.
I'll say Arkansas State looks to push the pace and to exploit that passing defense. Houston with Daniel Holgerson, he's no longer the run and gun. He's averaging just as many runs as passes. He's more of a balanced coach now. You've seen that the last few years at West Virginia as well. So that's, this is a different team. They're not going to look to push the pace as much as Arkansas State, but does it get over? I mean, it could,
Yeah, it's and then you have Razor on the under 54.5. There's no move. I did not feel like we clarified the situation from our analysis. And when that happens, that means a stay off for me. But I'm very interested and will be watching and learning. And Max says pass game for me. Let's move on to 8 p.m. Eastern. This is a big one. Two undefeated teams. Iowa Hawkeyes 4-0, 1-0 in the Big Ten. Maryland Terrapins 4-0, 1-0 Big Ten. We're at Maryland Stadium in College Park, Maryland. 61 Fahrenheit clear and no wind at all. 1 mile per hour wind. It goes down to 0. I don't think I've ever seen that before. We have Iowa opening up as 4-point favorites. They moved to 3.5, then 3. This total opened at 46.5. It's now at 47.5. Let's take a closer look at this market move. It's just been opening at 4, then to 3.5, then to 3, back up to 3.5, back up to 4. Then on Monday, it hit a high of 4.5. Iowa became a 4.5-point favorite. And since then, it's just been bouncing from 3 and 3.5. Let's move over to this total here. We have this total opening up at 46.5. The immediate move was towards the under. And when I see something like that, I often think that's where I want to be. I want to be where that immediate move was. Immediately moves to 45.5. It stays there for 14 hours. Then it moves to 46. And then on Tuesday at noon, it moves up to 47.5. Then at 1 p.m. on Wednesday, it moves up to 49. Then back to 48 and the 47.5 that we're dealing with right now. Extremely interesting market movement. Let's see if it correlates with the cash here. We have 18,460 tickets, so we have a great sample size. On the spread, 37% of the tickets are on Maryland and 61% of the cash. Then 57% of tickets are on the under and 78% of the cash. Ron Crawford says this line stinks. Iowa -3 versus unranked. Only way to look is Maryland, but I'm off. Abel Alvarez looking at Maryland. Hoops 590 giving us a final score of Maryland 27, Iowa 23. Iowa has won 10 games in a row dating back to last year, coming in off a 24-14 win at home over Colorado State as 23.5-point favorites. They were losing 14-7 at the half and only had 12 first downs. Crazy. The books made so much money on some of these games last week. This was another one. Maryland comes in off a 37-16 win at home over Kent State as 13-point favorites. Both teams share Kent State as a common opponent. A week earlier, Maryland beat Kent State. A week earlier, Iowa beat Kent State 30-7. Maryland can start 5-0 for the first time since 2001. Chance for their first 2-0 start in the Big Ten since 2014, since joining the conference. Tagovailoa has taken advantage of a great receiving core. 1,340 yards passing, 10 touchdowns, 1 pick. Okua Yinonu, 4 sacks already. Terps lead the conference with 16 sacks, and it's been a long time since Maryland's beaten a top 5 team. We go back to 2004 and number 5, Florida State. Nolly, I can't wait to hear your breakdown because I know you have action on this game. Iowa, Maryland, take it away.
Yes, sir, Jimmy. A big game here. You talk about Friday night, and you look at that line. I think that's what's indicative here. The type of environment that Iowa's going to go into here, it's going to be loud, it's going to be wild, and Maryland's got a lot to play for. Maryland has looked extremely good here on the offensive side. You talk about Tagovailoa leading the team 8th in passing offense, 13th in total offense, but here they've got a really tough task going against a really stout Iowa defense. Iowa ranks 3rd in the nation in scoring defense, only allowing 84.5 rushing yards per game, and their strong suit, the DBs. They've got an elite DB crew. They've got 6-foot cornerback Matt Hankins, who, according to Football Focus, the highest ranked corner in the nation. He's got 13 tackles, 2 interceptions, and a broken up pass. The guy's electric on the defensive side. So how is Maryland going to be able to respond to that? Are they going to be able to try to run the ball and find success? Because if you're going to keep trying to go against these DBs, you're going to find some problems. And for Iowa, this is what, to quote Mike Locksley, the Maryland head coach, this is a typical Iowa team. And this is what you get: a hard, physical team on defense and relies heavily on the run on offense. And what does that produce? Unders. Iowa since 2019 are 17-7-1 to the under. A team I love. The defense is 27th versus the pass in the nation, 17th in the nation versus the rush. Those are things that I love to see. And you talk about their offense relying heavily on the run. On the other side, Maryland has fared well against the run, only allowing 103.5 yards per game. But I'll tell you, one red flag that I see in this game is the fact that freshman linebacker Brandon Jennings is out for this game. This is not your typical freshman. He's 6'4", 225 pounds, leads the team with 14 tackles here in the year. So that's a big factor when you're talking about trying to stop this Iowa running game. So when I look at these games, you look at Iowa, they're 4-0 to the under here. Average total of 47.25. Maryland, 3-1 to the under this year. I love this play. I'm going under. I was able to catch the 48, but you get something over 47.5, and I love it. 47 being a huge key number.
Great breakdown. And the chat is on fire with this game. This is really fun. And by the way, Luchase Fox saying best bet in college football this week, Texas to smash TCU. Says he loves the over in the Baylor game. Write it down. I will write that down. Great stuff. Jose will take over the comments because the comments are so good in this spot. Okay, and Chandler Lake says Iowa hasn't played any tough quarterbacks, though. I think Iowa takes it, but there will be big plays. CT Bay's Iowa with their typical collection of NFL linemen, center going in the first round. Let me just copy and paste Luchase Fox's action. We are going to review what Nolly gave out on Wednesday and what I've already locked in. Wow. So Nolly got the 48. Very, very interesting line movement here in this game. So Nolly knows, and I think I'm going to run with him in this spot. 47.5 still available. Nolly's on the under 48, and Kev Riley also was in on the under. And Sean Thompson said, Maryland will not, I repeat, I love Sean Thompson. He's so much fun. Very smart capper, thoughtful guy. Will not line up for 4 quarters and play Iowa's game. Iowa must score first. Sean Thompson says, CT Bays, if Maryland goes up first, they will only get more dangerous as the game goes on. They will have a chance. All right. And Ron Crawford loving LSU, big revenge spot against Auburn. I'm going to copy and paste that too. All right, Nolly is on the board with the under 48, and I've got many asterisks beside it, thinking that I will tail this. Big Smooth, thank you for rolling with us. We move on here to the next game on the card. Another beauty at 9 p.m. tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. Not only is this a beauty, but we have finally reached Taint. The Taint play of the day is BYU Utah State under 63.5. BYU Utah State. Let's start with the market once again. We have BYU opening up as 8.5-point favorites. That's moved to 9.5. Oh, wagon wheel on the line. The total opened up at 58 and is now at 65. This total just keeps rising. Wow. Let's take a look at what it's done and how it's done it. Opens up at 58. Then on Monday night, it goes to 58.5, then 59.5. Then back to 58.5. So not everybody's sold on the over. Then back to 59.5 on Tuesday. Tuesday, in the afternoon. At noon, it gets to 60.5 and immediately goes up to 61.5 and 62.5. It went from 60.5 to 61.5 and 62.5 in 24 minutes. Stuck at 62.5 for a while, then back down to 61.5. So when was this giant move? Then it is yesterday. Yesterday at 3 p.m., it goes back to 62.5. 6 p.m., 63.5. It stays there until this morning, an hour and a half ago, to 64.5. And right now it's 65.5, and it's juiced to the over. Wow, a 7-point move towards the over here. Let's see what the money is telling us. 11,487 tickets. 68% of the tickets, 76% of the cash on the spread on BYU. Makes perfect sense. Markets moved a point. Now we go to the total. 53% of tickets on the under and 86% of cash on the under. Holy shit. And look at our guy, Matty Ice. He never is concerned by the market movement, which makes him such a great capper. Wow. Ron Walsick says, before BYU students had time to spill beer on their pocket Bibles, they were up 21 versus USF. And then they took their foot off the gas. And he says, to start the fourth quarter, USF had a 19-play, 9-minute drive to close within 8. Kevin Riley leaning towards BYU, 61 Fahrenheit, mostly sunny, 3 miles per hour at Maverick Stadium in Logan, Utah. The old wagon wheel. BYU comes in off a 35-27 win at home over UCF as 24-point favorites. This will be BYU's first road test because they beat Arizona 24-16 at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas to open the season, but that was no road test. Utah State comes in off a tough 27-3 loss at home to Boise State as 9.5-point dogs. Blake Anderson had this team, first-year coach Blake Anderson had this team rolling before that ugly loss. Utah State 5-62 all-time against AP-ranked teams. The Cougars are the highest-ranked team to pay a visit to Maverick Stadium since number 6 Boise State in 2009. Here we go. BYU, Utah State, take it away. Nolly Knows.
Yeah, very interesting game here when you talk about the line movement. And Utah State, really blew it against Boise, had a lot of opportunities to put points on the board. You outscore a Boise team and still lose by 20 points. That shouldn't happen. Blake Anderson, talk about he brings over his quarterback, brings over the best defender that he's got on this Utah State team, and instant success over here with Utah State. But here, against BYU, how are they going to fare? Not exactly sure. Blake Anderson seems to think that they're going to fare pretty well. He talks about being more athletic, being a lot faster, and they're going to exploit that here today is what he says. And even when you hear Kalani Sitake talk about it, he talks about it being a difficult matchup and how they have some playmakers. He understands that they're going to be put in front of the student section here tonight, so it's going to be loud. They're going to be in a very hostile environment, and he's all for it. And I talk about Kalani Sitake. I want to give a shout-out to my guy Pete Loshak, guy that's taught me quite a bit, guys, so take note. And it's not about just the plays, but dissecting the plays and getting the information. He references a book that he was a part of way back when, talking about, I think it was like the Gambler's Black Book or something like that. And they're analyzing these college coaches. And that's something that's very important when you talk about college football is the head coach. They take on the personality of these head coaches. And Kalani Sitake is a guy I've always focused on. And why? Because he's an under machine. Overall, since joining over here, BYU since 2016, he's 39-23-1 to the under, good for 62.9%. And without his star-studded quarterback, Wilson, take those 2 years away because they're putting up crazy points, 69% without him. So this is a team that doesn't push the pace. They're 107th, push just 64.8 plays per game. They're very physical up front, and I think that physicality doesn't bode well for Utah State. That's going to be a problem. Speed going against physicality, I take the physical team. That's the way I like it. So I definitely agree with my guy Matt Randall, and I'm close to pulling that trigger. I haven't yet, but I have a lot of action out there, but I think I might be jumping on.
Wild. This is just wild. And Matty Ice saying this is a gift. And look at what Sean's doing. Sean's saying, where is it? Utah State will score and score. I changed my pick to Utah State plus 10.5. Eric Jones giving us a final score of 34-17. Hoops 590 says this is a BYU 34-23 type game. Wow, this is wild. So we wait, Nolly? See how high this goes?
My concern in this game, and the reason why I didn't just want to jump on it, is Utah State's inability to stop the pass. You let a triple option team just throw all over them. That's my red flag for this game. That's why I haven't jumped on.
Wow. Andy Savage joining us. Great to see you. Andy says, I'm going hard in the paint on the Stormin' Mormons. BYU is a legit team this year. They need to win convincingly every game. I'm from Utah and can say BYU travels well. BYU by double digits. Matty Ice says won't get to 60. Oh, wow. And Sean's switching over to Utah State, which is wild. Okay, I got to sit with this giant market move here. But this is going to be a fun way to close out the night. All right, we keep rolling. We move on to Nolly and I each picked a Saturday game. Let's just quickly review what Nolly gave out, what I'm already on in college football. For me, picks left. I have Ohio, Akron over 55, and I doubled up on Liberty money line. I should have waited. Liberty first half plus 100, full game plus 105. And I bet Rutgers first half plus 8 and minus 115. We're going to talk about that game here in a second. Nolly gave out Florida State team total under 28.5, New Mexico Air Force under 47. And Nolly, did you also give out the New Mexico team total under 19.5?
No, that one was like severely juiced, like minus 160. Okay. I was going to look again to see if it dropped. I'll take it all the way to 17.5, but I need some better juice.
That's right, because I didn't. Yes, Eric Thomas, there is Taint, and Taint is on the under in that BYU game, and it's gone up to 65, might hit 65.5. It's so exciting. This is going to be such a fun night. I just fucking love this shit. Love this shit. Okay, we move on to the Saturday game I picked, and then the Saturday game Nolly picked. I am talking Ohio State Buckeyes, 3-1, 1-0 in the Big Ten at Rutgers Scarlet Knights, 3-1, 0-1 in the Big Ten. We're in Piscataway, New Jersey, 75 Fahrenheit, sunny, 8 miles per hour is the wind. It's beautiful. So let's move over to the market here at 3:30 p.m. in this spot. I could not believe that Sports Interaction was hanging a +9 first half, a +9 first half, and then a +15 full game. I was very excited. Pinnacles moved this to 14. Maybe this was a double-up spot. Maybe it is a double-up spot. And maybe after we break this down together, I want to add full game. Bet Online's moved it to 14.5. This total opened up at 56.5. It's now at 58 at most books. Pinnacles moved it to 57.5. I kind of like just doing this where we kind of follow the market movement, and it hasn't been a ton. It opened at 15.5 at Pinnacle, moved to 15 on Tuesday. Then we had 15 down to a 14, and we lost Nolly Knows for a second. I'm sure he will be back here shortly. And then let's move over to this total here. I can't wait to hear what everybody in the chat's saying because I got no problem doubling up. It opened at 56.5. Again, Tuesday moved to 57.5, and then 2 minutes later, 58.5. So Tuesday there was big movement, and then yesterday at 8:52 p.m. it moved down a point to 57.5. Let's take a look at the market or the cash flow in this spot at 3:30. God, they don't do this right. They don't set this up right. Let's move over to it, and there we go. 4,425 tickets in. 61% of the tickets, 68% of the cash on Rutgers. I like it. Then we don't know what the cash is on the total, but we do know that 61% of tickets are on the over, and that does make sense to me. And Remo says tickets and money on the under, but total climbing quickly past. It's wild. Maxwell Smart says, I'm not feeling this Rutgers spot, but I'm a college football dart thrower, so that no, I don't believe that. Ixchnizl says you need a Buckeyes hat and a Browns hat. I'll buy my gift for your hard work. Send me that hat size. That sounds very good to me. Ixchnizl. I am down, and there's Nolly Knows. Okay, let's talk about
size 8, Jimmy.
I am. Yes, I am. My head is growing into an 8. It was 7 3/8, and then 7.5. Oh no, am I 7.5 now? That's what I am. Shit. What the hell am I?
It's 3/8, Jimmy.
No, it's moved. I've moved. My head grew.
Oh
my
man,
head fucking grew. Yeah, I mean,
dad strength now.
Yeah, my head grew. I'm legitimately a 7.5 now. I don't know. I can't explain it, but I'm a 7.5. I've moved from 7 3/8. Okay.
Horse tranquilizers, Jimmy?
No, Jose. But if you try it first, I'm in. Ohio State coming off a 59-7 home beatdown of Akron as 49-point favorites. This isn't all Rutgers' spot because I like the idea of CJ Stroud sitting on the sidelines and watching that game. I do think, and I don't have numbers to back this up, and I wish there's more time in the day to do all this work that needs to be done. But I do feel like teams who've beaten up a minnow or an FCS squad has not looked good that next game. So without the services of CJ Stroud, he watched Kyle McCord, true freshman, look good. They have a 19-game winning streak in the conference on the line against Rutgers. They've never scored fewer than 49 points against Rutgers. The 22-point margin of victory last year was the smallest. This is a different Rutgers squad, man. They played at home for 3 straight weeks in a cushy at home, and now they go to New Jersey to Piscataway, where these fans are going to be so revved up. Rutgers coming off a 2013 loss at number 19 Michigan is 20.5-point dogs. In the second half against Michigan, Rutgers forced 4 straight 3-and-outs, allowed 42 yards, and 2 first downs. The Wolverines led the nation in rushing, 350.3 yards a game. They finished with 112. We know that Ohio State needs to have the run game going so that they can air it out. And what if they don't have the run game going? Noah Vidal playing a super graduate transfer, that's what we're calling him now. He's just being so comfortable in the pocket, so poised, not risking, not making mistakes. I love what I'm seeing from him. He looks like such a veteran back there. No interceptions. Rushed for 117 yards, 5 touchdowns, 762 yards, completing at 68%. Yes, I like Rutgers first half +8. And another thing that I will be doing and tracking very closely is when I have teams that are between 12 and 22-point dogs, I'm only going to take them first half now. And when I have teams that are 23 to 35-point dogs, I will only take them full game, and I'm going to track just that because that's been hurting me of late. So I'm on Rutgers first half. Nolly Knows. Ohio State, Rutgers. What do you think here?
I'm not sure about the first half. That's what my concern is. I think I'm leaning more so towards the full game. And the main reason for it, you look at this Rutgers defense, the only team in the nation that hasn't allowed a fourth quarter point. Not a single point, not a field goal, nothing in the fourth quarter. That's a huge stat. This is a very good defense. They're 20th against the rush, 18th against the pass, and 6th with points allowed. So this is going to be a tough task for the Ohio State. Like you mentioned it, they rely on establishing the run, a team that's 50-50. They're known for high-profile, high-octane offenses, but they're a 50-50 team, and if they struggle to get that offense going, I think that's going to be a tough task for them going against Greg Schiano here, you know. Greg Schiano, he's was a defensive coordinator over here for Ohio State, a guy that recruits really well in the New Jersey, New York area. He's actually got a couple of his recruits over there on the Ohio State side. You know, Ohio State's inability to stop the pass is huge for me, and that I definitely lean towards the Rutgers side. Better defense. They're 4-0 against the spread, covering the number by an average of 16.4 points. So line maker's been way off with Rutgers. Definitely agree with your side, but I think I like it full game more.
I have been getting hurt with my dogs so far this year, where they've been covering the first half and not covering the full game. So that's my issue here. That's just my issue. Look, everybody seems to be with me here. Let's fucking double up. I'm going to add the full game as soon as this show's over. We're doubling up. Feels good. I'm pumped up. Next up for Nolly Knows, he picks New Mexico State Aggies at 10:30 p.m. Eastern at San Jose State Spartans. We're in San Jose, California, 75 Fahrenheit, sunny, 8 miles per hour is the wind. Let's take a look at the market move in this spot. Here we go. Let's look at, does anything come back on Liberty? No. Heritage moved it to 1.5. Fuck, I hope like money comes in on Liberty. I'm getting nervous. Okay, here we go. San Jose State opening up as 28-point favorites. This moves to 27.5. This total goes from 51.5 to 52.5. And Pinnacle has moved it to 54. I got to double check that. Because there's no way that Pinnacle would be at 54 and the other book's at 52.5. So I think that's a stale line. God, that sucks. I'll have to check that. If anybody can help me check that out while we're breaking this game down, that would be very, very helpful. Because there's no way they'd be sitting at 54 since yesterday and none of the other books would have followed suit. That's just never going to happen. Then let's take a look at the cash in this game, in this late spot. Come on, show me. Get there. Show me. God damn it. This stuff just, I don't know why they don't set this up better for us to figure. Okay, I'm going to have to find it while Nolly is breaking this game. There it is. Just 970 tickets in. 970 tickets in. And so 67% of the tickets and 90% of the cash on New Mexico State. This is a very intriguing game with a lot of movement and a lot of moving parts, I should say. And New Mexico State comes off a 41-21 home loss to Hawaii, 16.5-point dogs. I had the under. I waited till it got up to, I think, 63.5, something like that. So I cashed the under. But I lost on New Mexico State full game. But they easily cashed the first half. So this is one of those situations that obviously has been playing on my mind. New Mexico State entered the season expected to be one of the worst teams, FBS teams in the country. They didn't play in 2020. 2019, they were 2-10. They only beat Incarnate Word and UTEP. They had 2 returning starters on offense. But I've liked what I've seen from Jonah Johnson. Now, they've had Dino Maldonado and Jonah Johnson splitting times. And you could say that Dino Maldonado has had a better season so far, but I still kind of think that Jonah Johnson is capable of I think he's got a higher ceiling, but Dino Maldonado has better numbers right now. San Jose State comes in off a very tough travel stretch. So they had the bye week. Then they go to Hawaii. 17-13, they win as 8-point favorites. It was an easy under. Remember, there's no fans at Hawaii games. They're not allowed because of the COVID protocols. Then they have to go to Western Michigan. And I had people message me saying, this is the gift of the century. They're giving us Western Michigan 3-point favorites, 2.5 or 3-point favorites. And this is a very difficult travel schedule for San Jose State to handle. And then Nick Starkel. This guy was a monster last year. This year he's completed 50% of his passes, 6 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. This is wild here. Now San Jose State gets to come home and needs to get right. Nolly Knows, New Mexico State, San Jose, take it away.
Yeah, you mentioned it right there. Nick Starkel really having a tough time. And even the head coach talks about it. You know, he said he agrees that it hasn't been very fun to watch. And it's been a combination of some things. The departure of 2 really good playmakers on the perimeter. That's obvious. And kind of getting into the flow of the season, the timing, and that part of it with Nick and our skill has been a little bit all over the place. So the coach mentioned it here, and that was right after the last game. So they've got a lot to figure out. And Nick Starkel actually went out in that game, so that's actually a concern here because they go to their backup quarterback, Walker Eggett, goes 1 for 8 for 8 yards. Then they bring the third string in. He's even better. Goes 2 for 4 for -4 yards. Gets sacked twice. So if he can't go, they're going to have an issue. They might be going to wide receiver Nick Nash. They've used him last year. He actually led them to a comeback victory against San Diego State. So might end up going to that wide receiver. But, I mean, the way I see the line moving today, I'm indications that Nick Starkel is going to be ready to go. And how well has he played? You mentioned it. Ranks 116th, just 50.4% completion rate, 102nd in the nation in pass efficiency. And it's been the big part of it is their inability to get the run game going. You know, they haven't been able to produce much of anything. Against Hawaii, they weren't able to produce 100 yards, and that's a team at that point. Hawaii was giving up 190 yards rushing going into that game. And here, New Mexico State, not great on defense, giving up 180 plus yards rushing, But what are they going to be able to do against them? I don't think not a whole lot. And they don't push the pace a whole lot. Average under 70 plays per game. That's San Jose State. On the other side, you mentioned senior quarterback Jonah Johnson. He ranks 108th in the nation with 54% completion rate, 117th in pass efficiency. So hasn't really played well at all. This is a team that I mentioned it time again with some of these teams. These matchups, they just don't fare well. New Mexico State, a team that likes to push the pace, a team that likes to throw the ball. They're 14th in the nation in 79 plays per game, and it just doesn't bode well against this San Jose State team. San Jose, that's the one good thing that they've shown here is their ability to stop the run and play good defense. The defense has been held out there a lot, and that's the reason that you see some of the numbers inflated. But I have no confidence in their offense. I understand they're coming home. They're glad to be home after 4 weeks, but you heard the quote I mentioned with the coach. They got a lot to figure out, and they're going to figure it out in 1 week. I don't think so. So I like the under here. I'm on the under 52, and I like it quite a bit.
Very interesting breakdown. I wonder if my only fear is that they need the confidence builder so bad that if they start running up the score, if they do have things rolling against New Mexico State, they're going to want to stomp on their throat. Now, I agree with you. I don't know if they can fix all their problems in a week, but that's my only fear is that they need to stomp on someone's throat to get that confidence. My only fear. But I think your look makes a ton of sense. Under 52 and a half. If I gave you a $500 bet, and we're going to get into CFL here shortly, but if I give you a $500 free bet, Nolly, on a side on New Mexico State, San Jose State, at 27 and a half, what do you do?
I was really liking if we could grab the 28, but I'm leaning New Mexico State. This offense is all of a sudden going to beat a team by 30 plus points. I don't think so. I'm close to that one, Jimmy.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So there we go. There is our NCAA football breakdown. We each picked a game on Saturday, and then we have Friday night's action. So in review, the Summers are for Taint. That's the David Summers and the David Summers and Taint combo. Summers are for Taint is on Houston Tulsa over 54. That total has dropped from 57 down to 54. Then the Nollies moved on the under 48 in Iowa, Maryland. And that was the chat was just on fire for that breakdown. I can't wait. I'm going to actually review everything one more time. Then the Taint play of the day is BYU Utah State under 63 and a half. And this total has gone from 58 up to 65. It just keeps climbing, which is wild. Then I'm on Rutgers first half +8, and I'm going to add full game. This is really exciting. And then under 52 and a half for Nolly in New Mexico State, San Jose State Spartans. And for us now, we're going to talk about CFL, and then we're going to do a quick NFL review, and then we're going to head into the weekend that's going to be so full of action. Nolly Knows will be joining us Sunday morning. So he's not going to give us his NFL looks yet. He's going to give us that Sunday morning on our big Pub Hub show. And we got a great group on Sunday. I can't wait for the Sunday show. Follow this man on Twitter at Nolly Knows. Nolly, thank you for sharing your hard work with us. A quick review of Nolly's baseball here. And Nolly is on the full game under 8.5 in Tampa Yankees. He's on the under 3.5, first 5 in Phillies Marlins. I'm going to tail that. He's doubling up on the under in Tigers White Sox. First 5 under 4.5, full game under 8.5. I'm going to tail one of those. I'm still figuring out. And he's on the under 8.5, which is now moved to 8 in Milwaukee, LA Dodgers. Nolly, thank you for your hard work, my man. Can you please drop some last words for the great cappers supporting the show?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Jimmy. Thank you, Pub Sports, for having me, and the chat for putting up with me. You know, hopefully we got some good angles, guys. Good luck to everybody. Happy Friday, guys.
There he is. Nolly Knows. He'll be back in action on Sunday. We go into CFL, and then we'll do an NFL review. CFL came into the week 8-6, but lost both bets on the Elks first half and full game to move to 8-8, which is very, very irritating. We start with a very difficult game tonight. So I have moved on both games on Saturday. We just got a look from Slatsy. Slatsy just gave us a look in a game on Saturday as well. But let's talk about tonight's game. And I hate that my Leos are in play. And I've got we'll talk. There's been a very sharp move towards the BC Lions. And I'm afraid to get on board. The Bombers open up as 3-point road favorites. The Bombers 6-1, 2-1 on the road at the BC Lions 4-3, 1-2 at home. This is at BC Place in Vancouver, BC, my hometown. Pinnacle has moved this to 1, and so have all the other books. Bet365 is the only one not hanging a 1 right now. So a 2-point move towards the BC Lions. From a total perspective, it opened up at 52.5, and Pinnacle has dropped it to 52. There's been very little movement, just that half point towards the under. These are two electric quarterbacks. There's Tim Montana, BX in the house, 586 Soldier joining us as well. Bled saying, when are you going to start NHL, Jimmy? Soon. Very soon. Very, very soon. Maxwell Smart also on Winnipeg. So you got Lance LaRose on the Bombers, Maxwell Smart on the Bombers as well. BC here with Michael Riley, and then Winnipeg was at Colaros. We have the two best quarterbacks in the CFL thus far. BC is going to be looking to rebound from that 31-24 loss to the Rough Riders in Week 8. Winnipeg comes in off that very easy 37-22 win over the Edmonton Elks in Week 7. The Elks just look like a weak football team, so I don't take too much into that. Colaros, 1,731 passing yards, and there's a lot of talk of him being the most outstanding player in the league. In his last 3 starts, he's completed 56 of 73 passes for 775 yards, 4 touchdowns. It's not the yards and the touchdowns. He's incompletion since Week 5. He's averaging just 5.6 incompletions a game. He's in complete control. Their front 7 has been monstrous. 8 fumbles. They forced 8 fumbles and forced 10 interceptions as well. They get so much pressure. They have a league best turnover ratio of plus 15. They're allowing an average of 14 points per game and going up against Michael Riley, who is leading the league with 1,870 passing yards. We've talked about what Michael Riley has done since his mom died of cancer this past, just about 4 months ago in the summertime. He was Mike Riley throughout his whole career. This is a 37-year-old quarterback. And his mom always wanted him to be Michael. She always made a point of it. His mom watched every single one of his football games his whole life. And he's been so good. Birdie, I hear that very quickly, but I couldn't. I thought he was on like a 3-year-old filly. I see Dark Eclipse in the 4th race in 10 minutes, but I don't see the 3-year-old filly that he had. I already looked. He said take Dark Angel, 3-year-old filly in the 4th race. There's Dark Eclipse, who's a 5-year-old gelding. So I don't know what's going on there. If you could help me figure that out, I would love that. Back to Mike Riley. He's just been such a focused quarterback this year. 1,870 passing yards, 10 touchdowns and 1 pick, 74.4% completion rate. And lucky, it's the 10 horse, he says. Mokadama. That's a 3-year-old filly. Out of Dark Angel. That makes sense. Okay, that race pops off in 10 minutes. Why don't we see if we can close the show on that race. Let me just pop it up here. And then we have Trusty on race 4. So let me just pop this up. Okay, we'll close the show on a Newcastle race given to us by Fap Win. Okay, so Lucky Whitehead's been electric. Fumbled twice last game. I mean, only one was really important, although the second fumble cost me the push. Whitehead, 665 receiving yards, 6 plays of 30 yards or more. He's the most electric receiver in the league. Just so fast and so confident right now. I see that Lance LaRose and I see that Maxwell Smart are on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers here, and I respect that. I cannot put my money on the Lions, against the Lions when I see all the sharps on the Lions. Or I shouldn't say because I don't have the ticket numbers for CFL. I shouldn't say the sharps on the Lions. I just say the market moved towards the Lions. It's enough to scare me off of betting this. And it's enough for me to not know what to do. I think this total is at a really nice spot at 52.5. And I like the under. I think that the under is probably in play. I do. I don't think this is going to be a high-octane offensive game. And look, this was going to go way under that BC-Saskatchewan game. I mean, Saskatchewan scored 13 points in 2 seconds with 2 seconds left. Lance LaRose leaning under. Thank you, Big Smooth. Yeah, the Cubs was a great call. It was great spot. I am going to move. I think I'm Lance LaRose leaning. I guess that needs a little more study for me, which I'll do right after this show ends. But the under, the more I talk about it, just because of these great offenses, it doesn't scream over to me. But then the Elks were able to put up 22 points. You know, the Elks were able to put 22 points up on the Bombers. I mean, this Bombers defense is so scary at home, but on the road, they haven't been quite as dominant. So I don't know if I'm going to move on it. I'm going to add some question marks right there. But let's talk about tomorrow's action here quickly before we do a quick NFL review and then look at this Newcastle race 4 that's popping off in a few minutes. Here we go. Dark Angel, 3-year-old Philly. So out of Dark Angel. That was my fault. Lance LaRose has Saskatchewan, Calgary Stampeders over. I moved on the Stampeders +3. I think it's a nice bounce back spot for them. It's moved to 2.5. I think it's a very, very important hook. And I got the 3. You can still get the 3 at Bet365, but Heritage has already moved it to 2. I'm very happy that I'm on the Stamps +3. And then I moved on the Ticats -2.5 at home. Pinnacles moved that to 3. I love backing the Ticats at home. It's just a moneymaker after moneymaker. Yes, Birdie, I have Trusty's look here. I'm going to pop it here for you. This is his look for race 4 at Churchill. How much time do we have until that, Birdie? Here you go. Oh, shit. It's too many. Okay. Owner, trainer. Sorry, I've got... This is Trusty's look. Just know that it's from Trusty. I just didn't have enough words. Thank you, Jay Yim. I'm very excited about the birthday. It's on Monday. I'm very excited just to relax and hang out and enjoy life this weekend. Okay, so back to this spot. I think that a very interesting thought here from our Slatsy on that game, the game where I think everyone should jump on the Ticats personally, even though the Alouettes put up a ton of yards on the road last week. It's much tougher to play at Tim Hortons Field than it is to play at BMO right outside my apartment. But this is from Slatsy. He says, CFL Al's GM came on local radio saying players taking undisciplined penalties will be fined or suspended. Focused defense and Ticats D's being great on under 48.5. I think that makes a ton of sense. What our guy Slatsy's on. So I think I'm not sure if I'm going to add the under 52 in Bombers lines because of how excellent these two quarterbacks have been. But I do think that Slatsy's on one here for the under in the Owls game. And I'm already on the Ticats -2.5. So Ticats -2.5. So let's just move this here. Owls under 48.5. I think Slatsy's on one. I love the Ticats defense at home. Okay, so we move over and Nikolai Jubinski giving a couple horse races. We're going to close this show on a horse race here. Newcastle race 4 is coming up in 5 minutes. While we're doing that, let's just talk about NFL, do a quick NFL review. And last night just took it right in the drink hole. Embarrassing. I do think the over was the right look, but it was an embarrassing loss. 0-3 down 3.3 units, which puts me to 29-22, 56.9%, plus 4.4 units on the year. ROI plus 8.63%, average line minus 111. Lost with the Jacksonville Cincinnati over 46. Bengals first half minus 4 and Bengals full game minus 7.5. Both losers. And Johnny K saying that Hughes and Pedersen resigned. I'll tell you one thing that's interesting to the hockey fans out there is my dad has begun to despise Hughes because of how poor he is defensively, which is a pretty wild turn. Okay, this is what I have left on the board. I have Carolina plus 5. I absolutely am in love with the rest and preparation advantage for Carolina. Yes, they don't have McCaffrey. And I still think that's going to be okay. Plus 5, minus 110. Dolphins minus 1.5, minus 110. Seattle, San Francisco under 52, minus 110. Raiders plus 3.5 and minus 110. I've been waiting for Bet365 to drop the Bears to minus 2.5. And they haven't done it yet. And it's not even a plus 100 anymore, which is really annoying. I guess I'm going to have to get, and Johnny K says Panthers money line. Wow. I'm going to have to probably take the minus 3. Before I could have got the let's see what it was. Before I could have got the Bears minus 2.5 and minus 125. It's now minus 130. That's a lot of juice. It's race 4. Isn't it race 4 coming up in Newcastle? Yeah, it's race 4 coming up right now. At Newcastle, and we are on the 10. Moko Dama. I'm going to lock my bet in right now just so I know I've got it in. I'm not. It's just his tail. So I'm just going to put $20 on it to win. Moko Dama to win $20 here. I will pop it in the chat. Just a very simple, easy, very enjoyable tail of Fap win. Here we go. Popping that right there. Olu Folarin, thank you for joining us. Happy Friday to you, my friend. Okay, so we are getting closer to this race popping off. Again, they do a shit job when all of the horses have the same color of fucking cloak or whatever the fuck it is. So...
Jim, I'm on the horse as well now, so we're fucking riding.
Okay.
We're absolutely going to win this horse now. It's going to be fun. I'm not going to watch, and you're going to call this race, and I'm going to
It's hard to call these races in the UK because they all look the exact same, and I can't have the volume on, obviously, because we can get some sort of a
yeah, they'll
flag.
come after our ass. They'll come after our ass.
But there is our jockey, Buick, looking good, looking poised. So quickly here, thank you, Lex. It's a very tricky game. So I'm on the Raiders plus 3.5, Seattle, San Francisco under 52, Dolphins minus 1.5, Carolina plus 5. And from looking at this, I need to move on the Broncos. I've been talking about it the whole time. We have so much money. And again, catch us Sunday morning when we break everything down. Break everything down on our Sunday morning show with a bunch of different cappers. But money just keeps piling in on Baltimore. Bet Online has now moved the Broncos to plus 1.5, which is just shock and awe. I can't believe that I'm this ass clown sitting on the outside that can't get the Bears at minus 2.5. I'm not going to put minus 130 juice on it. But I love the Bears in this spot. I love how they were embarrassed last week and they come out fighting here. Yeah, I don't know who's going to be the starting quarterback. But I think this is a team that's going to come out fighting hard at home, and I like them quite a bit. The Jets have now moved to plus 6.5, which hurts me that I didn't move on them earlier. The Texans are now at plus 17, and I kind of, when Birdie moved on them at plus 17.5, I thought, man, it'd be nice to be on that spot. Notice that the Eagles has moved to 6.5 at a couple books here, which is wild. But Also, Arizona has moved to +4, and I was beating myself up for not getting the +6. But from an addition standpoint, Denver and the Bears are the only ones I really plan to add. It's been a great week. Not the best in my wallet, but it's been a great week. And I just love capping with you guys so much. We have a breakdown. We have a montage, a little video that from the week it was that our man Jose will play soon as this show's over.
And I don't know if you've seen this yet. This is why I mentioned earlier. You cut me off. We have a new little graphic too.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you saw it.
I have not seen it.
I can't even look at it without laughing.
Oh, we're off. We are off at Newcastle. Our horse, the 10, has gone right to the lead. Mm-hmm. Right to the lead here in Newcastle. Again, they're all wearing the same color, so I'm pretty certain that that's our horse who's gone right to the front. Gorgeous horse, too. And
it's the one with 4 legs.
Oh, shit, that's the one. No, the 10 is in second last. These clowns. All wearing the same fucking – oh, God. All right, we are in second last, but we're moving towards trying to find room. It looks like Buick thinks he's got a ton of room on this 10. He does. He's got horse. He just has no room. Look, they do such a shit job in Newcastle with letting us know. Get to the outside and fire. That's what he's doing right now. He's gone to the outside. It's a gorgeous horse, and he's firing. Come on, take it home, baby. Buick sees the line, and he's firing on the outside. Moving up to the front. Come on, take us home. Let's go. Push it. Push it. God, he's right there. He's right there. He's just a step behind. Come on, push it. He's not going to get there. God damn it. Those of you who went win place will cash. God. Second place. All right. Sean Thompson says everyone expects Ravens to show out. I think Lamar is hurt. Well, he hasn't been practicing, but I'm afraid. I'm literally legitimately afraid to make this bet. I've been sitting back the whole time. James Reed says, what were the odds? Yeah, you're right. I don't think that you should make a win-place bet really ever. Unless, well, I shouldn't say that. Unless you're getting a really nice crooked number. Let's see. What did the 10 go off at? 3-1. So it was the favorite, though, the Thunder Power 3-5 favorite that won it. Curious what that exacta would have paid. The straight exacta. Oh, it just pays nothing. 5-1. All right, it was a tough race to get money. Brady says got trapped too long. All right, it's okay. We're gonna make that money back on Trusty's horse. Okay, we got to go. We've been here for too long. I am afraid to bet the Broncos. Legitimately, I'm afraid to bet the Broncos with all this cash, all this money. I mean, even if we go here very quickly to the actual market, we have 15,963 tickets in. On the spread, 75% of the tickets, 81% of the cash is on the Ravens. And that's just an alarming amount. And Sean Thompson says, I'm on the Broncos, not the same Ravens team, in my opinion. Birdie, thank you guys so much. Thank you all for rolling with us day in and day out. I love being here. And you guys make this show so special. So big shout out to Sean Thompson, Birdie, Lex Steele, James Reed, Crystal Warren, Boogie Maine, Shaka Duncan. There's Machiavelli, our lawyer right there. Machiavelli in the house. Deacon Mike, Kev Riley, Johnny K, Puzzler, Short Shot, Timmy. Says someone help quick so I can make a bet on the 10 horse dude. I hope you didn't get it in Short Shot. But I love you. Ron Walsek, you're a great guy. Lance LaRose, Damon Santoro, Olu, all you guys. Nikolai Jubinski, Jay Yim, Lance LaRose. Thank you guys all for your support. On behalf of my man, Jose on the ones and twos, myself, Jeff Slaughter, everybody here at Pub Sports Radio, thank you. Let's have ourselves a giant weekend, starting with a giant Friday. Most importantly, though, just leave it on for a bit. Leave it on for a bit.
I was trying to find a moment to unveil it, but I just said, fuck it. We're just putting this thing up.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
I thought that you would enjoy this. Are those Pete's real legs? I mean, I think those legs are pretty shapely. Wow, Pete.
Yeah. Oh, supposedly he's hung like a Shetland. I've heard. Yeah.
What's a Shetland? What is that? Is that an animal? What is that?
Yeah. So it's a horse.
Okay, well, I'm glad our Shetland came through for us.
I love you guys. On behalf of all of us, thank you guys for watching. We got a little as the week that's coming up here right now. But thank you for all your hard work, Jose, all the time. Why don't you give us a leche? Take us home.
No. It's all you. This is all you. Winning cappers get to do what they want. I choose not to do the leche because I'm purely just not Hispanic enough. You say it the way you say it, Jim. The way you pronounce these Spanish names, it does things to me. It makes me
Thank you. Well, that's because I know that's not an ALOS bookmaker. I know it doesn't work, but that when we first typed in "milk the bookies" into my translator, that's what came out.
Well, I mean, come on. Google Translate's never failed me once.
Leche. ALOS bookmakers!
Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to Low Check in the Bag Show.
What up, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? All of you, thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio.
And we'll say I had a big ass head. This hat isn't fitting at all, so I don't know, but it'll be a
Zachary says it's sounding tin. Is it still sounding tin-like? Shouldn't be sounding tin-like.
Doing really well, Jimmy. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to everybody. Hey, great time to be a baseball fan right now. Got a lot of races, a lot of things coming down to the wire. Got some college football, NFL. I'm excited to be a bettor right now.
Welcome back onto the show. How are you? I know you're upset, and I love it.
That's how I am. Just a big sigh.
Okay. All right. Just add a little game there. How about, am I a little there? Anybody fucking tin-like? What the fuck?
If I leave here tomorrow,
oh God, yeah.
I'm free as a bird, babe.
Yeah.
And I ain't taking your fucking vaccine,
So who better to inform us on a young Venezuelan pitcher than our man, Jose Bouquet. Jose, thank you for joining us in this crucial spot. Miguel Yahure on the bump. Hello, you want to give a quick wave? Give a quick wave. They know that you're sick and you're trying to feel better. Okay, I got to work. Okay. See you later. Okay, a quick hello from Ella to bless our picks. We're going to break this game down with Pistol Pete Loshak and our man, Jose Bouquet, so confidently gave us UTSA to cash at +3, and they were down 21-0 after the first quarter, and he switched seats in the stadium to bring us the glory that was UTSA's winner. Inform us on this young Venezuelan pitcher.
I would also like to inform everyone that I've officially submitted today as a National Venezuelan Heritage Show for this show.
Okay.
This is now Venezuelan Heritage Show.